Ba-ba-ba. God, I really hope the VOD doesn't pick up that little bit right there. Anyway, it's streaming time. Hello,
It's
everyone.
time
Yes.
for streaming.
Streaming something I have never streamed before, at least not on the computer. I think I streamed the PS4 version of Destiny 2 like
Stream.
once. Let's see here. Add a new source. Hello, bird. Destiny 2. Add source. Capture specific window. Destiny 2. Done. Can't help but notice. Does not appear to be capturing specific window, or in fact, any window. So, I guess we will need to figure this bit out before we actually get to do anything today. You know how it is. Might actually be like a streaming thing in here. Set the graphics to medium and turn that off.
I cannot see the chat.
That is because I accidentally closed the window. Can you see it now?
Yes, I can see the chat. I very much can see the chat.
I am trying to figure out why the game will not show up in Streamlabs. Why does Streamlabs, like, okay. This is a question I know no one here has the actual answer to. But, like, anytime I right-click in the source menu, Streamlabs just locks up for a solid, like, 5 seconds. And that seems like a problem. Like, it seems like it shouldn't do that. Let's try window capture. Add source. Destiny 2. Destiny 12. Yeah, there we go.
Oh no. That would be...
That seems to be working.
Alrighty.
It's
so
a
now,
little bit
I guess center that.
Let me just, like that. It's a little bit off center, but that's fine. Alright.
Alright.
Yeah, basically, actually before I should real quick just check to make sure that I have the in-game voices turned off.
Okay.
Yes, okay, I do. Because if I didn't, that would get extremely distracting very quickly.
Alright.
Anyway, yeah. We're gonna be futzing around in this game and doing nothing in particular.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah. Like, just do some of these, maybe, I don't know.
So about that review of Pitchfork.
Yo, like...
Darkest timeline!
I don't even know what to say. I read it and I was just like... There's probably like a German word for the feeling of reading something and just having like a profound sense of you and I do not see things in this world the same way whatsoever. It was,
just
yeah.
of the gulf between two human beings' experiences opening up before you like the yawning chasm of the infinite.
Yeah. Just like, you know, you and I, we do not see eye to eye. like, the score is one thing. The score sucks, but, like, the actual review... Which, by the way, it's good we have something to talk about other than the game, because holy shit, this is taking forever to load into the thing. But, like, the actual... To provide some context, we were talking about Pitchfork's recent review of Jesus is King by Kanye West. An album which made me actually weep. Not out of joy, but because, like, oh my god, the person that used to be one of my favorite musicians is making this crap now.
Yeah.
But, like...
And have you listened to more than those tracks?
I have listened to a few, and...
Oh.
You know, it is not a light thing to say that I couldn't make it through an album that's not even half an hour long, but I could. So, there we go.
Yeah, it's worth noting, I'm just reminded of, that, Anthony Fantano, who actually is one of, like, the few people who, like, outside of Kanye's stans, who actually liked Ye, even he was like, this is a bad album. Like, just outright. Like, he gave it, I think, a 4, and was essentially
sounds about right. It's like...
Yeah, like...
baseline, like, listenable, I think is the nicest thing I could say about it.
It was like, he said, like, basically said, and this is from anybody who said anything positive about it, who isn't, like, just talking out of their ass, has basically said, the mixing was really bad, the production itself was interesting, and there were a few cuts which, like, had their moments.
Like, I've heard people say that, both the Pitchfork review and I guess Fantano as well. I wouldn't even go that far. I think the production is extremely regressive as far as...
Yeah,
like it on its own, like in a vacuum, sure, but in the context of other things Kanye West has made,
exactly.
Like, it's clear that these are just, like, ideas he had and then didn't bother to refine very well.
That
is true. Marone's album is out now. I have not listened to it yet, but it is almost certainly better than Jesus is King. I put out an album this year that's better than Jesus is King.
I mean, yeah, like...
It's just... Also, like, again, thank God we have something to talk about. We've been live for we've been live for, like, 5 minutes already, and this still hasn't finished loading.
Wow, yeah.
Gex,
I mean, at least the loading screens look pretty.
Yeah, like, you know, at least the loading screen is something nice to look at. But, just
cloud
like...
layers.
Yeah. But just like... God. I don't know. I listened to it and I was like... I think I got about 2/3 of the way through the record before I had to turn it off. And I was just like... I actually cannot believe that this exists. Like, Ye is a bad album. And... the only good thing I can say about Ye is that it at least seemed like there were ideas in it. Like,
like it had ideas.
Not good ideas largely, but you know, there was an attempt to make a coherent artistic statement even if it didn't go anywhere.
Yeah, it's
Jesus
like...
is King is just like boring. Like, there's a bit on the album where he's like, oh, my life isn't mine anymore, it's Jesus' life, which is a creepy fucking thing to say, and B, like, I guess that explains where all of his, like, emotion went. Because he sounds fucking half asleep half the time to me.
Because he's literally being possessed by Jesus.
If he was, Jesus is not a very good rapper.
Yeah, that's kind of
it's just the lyrics are so half-baked. And I've heard that there were like dozens of ghostwriters on this record, which if that's true, they should be fucking ashamed of themselves. Ever so slightly better because the lyricism was sort of genuine. I guess it depends on how much you value that sort of thing. I just speaking personally, I care more about how music sounds and like if I'm getting anything out of it. Hello, Trey.
Hi, Trey.
Welcome to a loading screen in Destiny 2.
While we talk about
Pitchfork's
King bad
again.
Opinions.
Yeah. It's just like
I think that actually the last couple of lines of the review, if they'd been attached to like a review that weren't so bad, would be like the perfect summary of the Jesus is King situation.
The last like paragraph of that review is really good, but the rest of it is so weirdly wishy-washy. And
and also like
people had this criticism about Megan Garvey's review of Yay, and I don't agree with it there, but I do agree with it with this one. It really dances around talking about the actual record to an almost embarrassing degree. Like there's not a lot of discussion of the album as an album in that review.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, like, what's the deal here? Why this? Actually, restart this and see if it. I feel like I've done something wrong. Like, look at not even the fucking buttons in the menu are loading in.
Yeah, that's really weird.
So I'll restart this and hopefully
maybe it's just that Jesus is King is bad enough that it's actually short-circuited your game.
Yeah, it's malware. If this does this again, we will just play like Dead Cells or something.
Okay. That works.
Yeah.
Dead Cells is fun.
Dead Cells is fun, and we haven't played Dead Cells in a while. But it's just. Does Discord post a server message when you leave a server? Depends on the server. You can set it up to do that or not.
Yeah.
Hey, also my chat box, the capturing is like slightly out of the actual box. That was weird. I noticed because Marone's last message was like running into the border over here. I fixed it, but that was
okay.
That was odd. Yes, Bungie, Destiny 2. I don't know why it said Shadowkeep, because I don't even have that expansion. We are strictly vanilla here.
That's a statement.
No, I don't bug people about leaving my server unless like some happened. So if you wanna vamoose, I'm not gonna stop you. But like I don't know. It's just a very bad album. I will agree with what Marone said a bit ago, which is that like it's not like the literal worst album to come out this year.
What would the worst album to come out this year be, in your opinion?
Probably Confessions of a Dangerous Mind still,
I
think.
True.
Like
God.
Cringe, God damn it. I you know. But also, like, those albums have almost opposite problems.
Explain.
Like,
because I have kind of refused to listen to Jesus is King.
Well, Jesus is King has, I would argue, very little personality, which is impressive considering that there's a song on there with both the Clips and Kenny G on it. But it is true.
Which is how do you manage to kill the personality of like? Yeah.
Like, the problem with Confessions of a Dangerous Mind, on the other hand, is that it's so self-absorbed that it's like only Logic's personality, and Logic has a bad personality. So, 93 Punks I have heard as a candidate for worst record of the year.
What
Vic
is 93
Mensa's,
Punks?
that was the quote unquote rock album by Vic Mensa. I don't
Oh.
I didn't like Vic Mensa way back when Internet Tape came out, and I have felt no compulsion to listen to any of his recent music, which is apparently like way worse. So I'm
Oof.
good. It's a big laugh.
Well, I mean, so was Supermarket, to be fair.
You can visit the moon from Shadowkeep if you want, but no story content past the first mission. That's fine. Like
Hi,
I was
Go-Go.
gonna just turn this on basically to like screw around, but it seems to actively not want me to play it right now. I don't know if the servers are down or what the hell is going on.
Yeah, this is weird. There's so much.
What's a manual?
Loading.
I don't remember. My memory is failing me in my own. The Amir Vaughn solo record. I listened to I think one song off of that, and I was just like, no, thank you.
Hello.
But
But
you don't think it's server trouble? I don't know. This could be one of those ones that's just allergic to being streamed, because I've had games like that before. But like these load times are excessive even for Destiny 2, which
oof.
The Steam version at least seems to kind of take a while to get going. I'll give it another couple minutes, but we are now approaching 20 minutes of stream where we've just been looking at a still of a spaceship and a blank white screen, so like I don't know.
With a little spinny thing that makes cool shapes.
Yeah, I mean at least the loading bar is nice.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it is nice, but
it's pretty, but
like, yeah, what was it gonna? But it's like, I don't know. Yeah, like, so I've listened to the 2 Logic projects that came out this year, and those were both impressively bad for impressively different reasons. But ultimately, the root problem with both of them was indeed Logic's personality.
The guy making them, yeah. Like, I don't know. I don't go out of my way to listen to bad music, so it is possible that there are, like, far worse records, and I'm only counting, like, records by people who people actually care about, you know. There's plenty of bad albums that come out every year that nobody ever listens to, but,
oh, yeah.
like, it has been an absolutely dire year for mainstream rap music.
Yeah.
Everybody needs to listen to Maroon's album.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea. That is definitely on my list. Igor was not a rap album.
Igor's a good album. I would call it more of like a pop album, though. There is a lot of rapping on it. I don't know. It's kind of sort of a gray area.
To be fair,
like Igor.
I haven't.
A lot of people don't like Igor, though.
I don't know. Like I still actually I haven't listened to Igor yet. Like,
it's a good album.
But it seems like something I would like, and what I've heard off of it is really good.
Yo, like, I think we're just gonna try Destiny 2 another day. Like, been live for almost 20 minutes at this point and not actually played anything, which I think is a new record.
Yeah, there have been like. But the thing is,
like, Cells instead.
It's not like there haven't been really good hip hop albums. I mean,
there have been. There just have not been, I don't think, any really good, like, big hip hop albums, which is why I specified mainstream.
Okay, I get like Miron mentions Lizzo, which that's like on the borderline, like with.
I haven't heard Lizzo's
more
album,
pop,
although I've heard several songs from it because it was
because she managed to break through and get.
I kind of got the
huge.
impression she was more of a singles artist, but that might be like not true.
I don't know. I've heard good things about the album as well. But yeah, it's like there are good like things adjacent to hip hop in the
Yeah,
mainstream that have gotten really big, and and it's funny to like think that Tyler the Creator getting huge, and also with the kind of material he's been putting out over the last two albums. It's like that's interesting to me. Um, it
that
is not
was
something
that was
you would have
interesting.
expected. I don't think.
Yeah, like I don't know. Odd Future in general, they've all had wild career trajectories. I
Yeah,
think
Earl's doing well.
Earl is Earl is making a style of music that he wants to make. That it happens to also be a style of music that I like is good.
Yeah.
Earl is a top 2 hip hop artist this decade. I don't know if I'd go quite that far, but like he's definitely very good. And I feel like the people that say that he's overrated or whatever junk don't give him a fair shake most of the time.
I still need to hear Malibu Can.
Oh yeah, Malibu Ken is like a great album, but
Like,
also Aesop Rock is probably the artist that I come closest to standing, so I would think that.
yeah,
He's
but I've
very
also heard that
loud.
from all kinds of people, including people who normally don't stan Aesop Rock.
That's fair. I think at the very least, most people would like the production.
Yeah, I mean,
Tobacco is a
it's
very inventive.
producer, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good combination. Um, and I am intrigued.
Yeah, it was that was way back in like January, I think.
Yeah,
Or February? It was early on this year.
February.
I know that you can change outfits, and I don't remember how to do it. Here we go.
But yeah, so
Yeah.
they're in terms of albums, hip hop albums I haven't heard yet that I really want to hear. There's Malibu Ken, the new Danny Brown.
Yo, I didn't realize I had several things to choose from. Let's go with purple.
Uh
Fuck
the
yeah.
the new JPEG Mafia.
The mainstream underground. I know what you mean by that, but it is kind of inherently a funny term.
Yeah, it's there's definitely stuff that's quote unquote mainstream underground
It's one of
hip
those
hop
things
that's
like
actually has what I was saying was that's actually been doing rather well lately.
yeah,
It's just the actual mainstream is
it's been an interesting past couple of years to be a Rat fan because in the early part of the decade, the music industry basically fell apart. Like, um, you look at albums that come out now and albums that came out in the 2000s, and there is a marked difference in, the length, the general budget of records, as far as mainstream artists and things like that. Um, like in the early 2010s, it felt like nobody really knew what to do. So there was kind of this like weird period of experimentation where you had things like LP and Jim Jones being on the same song, and at the time it felt very, very strange and weird. And now that's kind of just the reality of things. And like there is this sort of, if we want to use the term mainstream underground, we can, like this sort of middle ground of rappers who are they've got a cult following and they're popular in certain circles, even if they don't necessarily top Billboard charts.
Yeah.
I think that was a little bit earlier. That was like 2008, I think, Wu-Tang Meets the Indie Culture came out. I'm not entirely sure. But, like, I'm thinking to groups like, you know, Das Racist and things like that.
Yeah.
Uh,
And on that note, like, speaking of which, Mr. Motherfucking Esquire,
yes!
who
He had an album come out this year. I have not listened
he
to that
did?
yet, actually. Yeah, I should do that.
Jeez, I missed that.
The dude is, like, he didn't fall off the map entirely, but his moment in the sun
Yeah,
was
he
shorter lived than it should have been. Because the guy is very
and he was
talented.
and he went kind of quiet for a while,
He
comparatively.
took a year or two off, and I think that
Yeah,
like the way things move nowadays, I think that kind of hurt his buzz.
which is unfortunate because, like, the stuff I've heard from is fun,
Yeah,
and
good
also
record.
like I
Also,
was thinking
Last
of it because
Huzzah is like probably one of the, if not the best posse cut of the decade. It's definitely up there.
yeah, that's why I thought of it from Das Racist is like there isn't a bad moment on that song.
There's really not. Even Heems's like weird piss take verse is pretty good.
Yeah, like even like the bullshit on it is like
Yeah.
good bullshit.
Drunk
And it's
Driver
like
on it once.
and it is like one of the early breakout verses from Danny Brown,
Yes.
and just like I mean, and then LP's verse is fucking
That, like,
holy shit.
in my opinion, like this is a a a take of like middling temperature.
Okay.
That, in
Overrated?
my opinion, is like his last great verse.
Oh.
It,
No.
and,
I was afraid
if-
you were going to say it was overrated and then
No.
we'd have to get into fisticuffs.
No, it's a very good verse. I think that with Run the Jewels, he has kind of fallen down the ladder a little bit as a lyricist, and I wish he would climb back up. I do like his verse on Three Tears a lot, so maybe we are on the way.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, I fucking hate that lyric. From, I think it's the second Run the Jewel mixtape. Just like,
yeah, that's from the second Run the Jewels
Yeah.
mixtape, which I don't think I've listened to the second or third one all the way through yet.
I have listened to all three of them in their entirety, and
I remember not being as crazy about Run the Jewels as a lot of people like the first one.
I like the first Run the Jewels record a lot.
I know you
don't-
did not like the second.
I don't like the second one very much. I think the third one is like a little bit better than the second, but not that much.
Mm.
But,
I mean, like it was.
none of them
like,
are bad. It's just like I don't know. It is possible that it is as much just like my taste changing over time.
Yeah, fair.
LP is overrated? I don't know. I think LP is rated. You do occasionally run into people who will say that he's like one of the best rappers of all time, which I think is silly. Oh, okay.
That's probably an exaggeration.
But I think most people just think that he's very good, which I think is
yeah, he's
fair
very
assessment.
talented. He has some like genius, stuff in his catalog, but
I like Killer Mike, but I think he leans on kind of boilerplate, like southern rapisms a little bit much, which I wouldn't care about if like I didn't like several other rappers who do that a little bit better.
that's fair.
You could argue that as part of the Dungeon family, he kind of has a license to do that, but I don't know. Like, his verse on Three Tears, I don't like very much at all.
Huh.
It's Einstein mind, but I still tote iron. Yes, I am aware that you own a gun, sir. It's just not that interesting. I don't know.
Oh, what was I gonna say?
That's fair, Trey. But, oh, his delivery is very good. I think that's a fair assessment. I just think his writing is a little lacking sometimes.
What was I gonna say? But yeah, it's like, I mean,
Yeah.
like the thing is, like even with my sort of patchy hip hop listening habits, I've heard like at least 2 albums this year, which I would say are like really, really, really fucking good.
Clipping in the older Billy
and
Woods one.
yeah, and Hiding Places.
Yeah.
Are both fantastic.
It's reminding me that I still need to listen to Let the Sun Talk.
What is Let the Sun Talk?
By a dude named Mavi.
Okay.
I'm not sure if it's how you pronounce the A. And it is apparently like one of the good, like the more impressive like debuts. Well, not debuts, but like breakthrough records of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to listen to that. It's apparently very good.
Neat.
But I don't know. I don't know if I could make a top 10 albums, like even just specifically rap albums of the decade. That would be a tall ask.
Yeah, or albums of the decade in general. I don't know if I could.
I think it would be easier to do it just the one genre, but like not much easier.
No.
All right, well I'm dead.
So, what would be in like a top? Well, it would have to be like just the top number one of each year, really. You know, from like 2010 to 2019.
Hey, shout out to Twitch for telling me that I have -3 viewers. That's an interesting statement.
But then, like, you know, yeah, that's bizarre.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's up with that.
But then, actually, that might not necessarily be true in the first place, because there's also, like, the whole situation of where you could have, like, several of the top albums of one year be significantly better than, say, the best of another year, or vice versa.
Hello, Avra.
Or, like, have... Hi, Avra! Yeah. But yeah,
Okay.
Like... Actually, I think it would be easier to make a slightly longer list that would be able to encompass...
Yeah, like, I actually, you know, going back to Pitchfork, I actually largely liked their top 100 albums of the decade list. I didn't like the songs list. I thought it was very pop-heavy. But I did like
their top
the
100 albums of X, Y, and Z decades generally tend to be pretty decent.
Those tend to be pretty good. I like the albums ones better than the song ones generally.
Also, because they're written often by... I feel like they like, sometimes... What's interesting sometimes is when they'll have an album that's like on their best of the decade list, but, you know, which has a very different assessment from whoever wrote about it.
The original review, yeah.
Yeah, like back in the late 90s or early 2000s or mid 2000s.
The funny one for me, Pitchfork recently gave like a pretty good review to the most recent Jimmy Eat World album. And out of idle curiosity, I went and looked at their old review, which is actually by Ryan Schreiber, the guy that founded the magazine.
Oh, yeah.
Back when, in like 2001 or something, of the first Jimmy Eat World album, they gave it a 2.1. And,
of course.
And it's just this guy, like, madly rambling about how Jimmy Eat World are for, like, fucking man children, and it's just like the most overblown negative reaction I've ever seen toward anything. It was hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, Ryan Schreiber is kind of an ass.
Schreiber is a douche. I kind of
Yeah,
have
he's
gotten
just...
that impression.
Yeah, he's like... I mean, I've compared him to, like, an even more pathetic version of Jan Wenner, the founder of Rolling Stone.
I don't know anything about like I don't keep up with media mogul figures generally. But
Like,
from the
well,
couple reviews I've read by him, he seems like an asshole with a stick up his ass.
yeah. I mean, although it is interesting, I can't remember if it was Schreiber himself or another one of their early writers gave a perfect score, one of their few perfect scores to the Gay EP by 12 Rod. Which,
no context for that.
12 Rods were a band from, I think, Minneapolis, who kind of had this sort of post-punk / post-hardcore-ish sound.
That seems like something Pitchfork would like.
That,
like
and were very sort of low-key, kind of occasionally lightly psychedelic, and had these very sort of personal, insular sort of lyrics.
I see. This is actually reminding me, I don't remember who wrote this one, but if you want to go look at something that Pitchfork really should have buried, you should look at their review for Eiffel for Zagen by NWA. Because that is embarrassing. It is...
What?
It is, you are, I assume you know who NWA are.
I know who NWA are.
Okay. Just checking. But
of course I fucking know who NWA are.
Well, you sounded very confused.
No, I just don't know that album.
Oh. It was their... Like, it was like a thing that came out after they broke up or something. I don't remember what the story is there. It's the name of one of their other albums spelled backwards, which you can use your imagination.
Okay, I get it.
Yeah. Like... The album, like, the review is for... for some reason, is written in, like, this horrible, affected jive talk.
No.
Yeah.
No.
It's really awful, and I hate it a lot.
No. Oh, no.
And there's the F slur in it a couple times for no good reason.
Oh, and also, Avra is bringing up, and I remember this, is the one where they did the, talked about the Jad Fair Daniel Johnston collaboration, and I do recall it being really ableist.
Well, before they decided to, like, crown him one of the best rappers of all time, which I actually don't think is a crazy opinion, but somebody at the site had a change of heart at some point. Their first couple reviews of Gucci Mane's records are also deeply ableist, and Gucci Mane's not even on the spectrum, but they decided that he was, and basically like mock him for it, and it's just very upsetting.
It's really particularly bad with like Daniel Johnston. Daniel Johnston had like severe bipolar disorder and possibly was also on the autism spectrum, and like was, really gifted songwriter, kind of has like an odd voice, odd sort of style, and
he made the album with the alien on the cover.
Yeah, with the little sort of quasi snail frog dude.
Yeah.
Hi, how are you? And his early work is extremely charming.
Yeah, generally considered like a classic of outsider music.
Yeah, and of like just sort of like lo-fi singer-songwriter stuff in general.
Yeah.
Granted, I do understand how people might feel like that his stuff is a little bit overrated, like, given that people get really effusive, but I totally understand why, is because, like,
Yeah,
He's
it's
one of those
things.
people that connects with you or doesn't.
It's like Jandak. It's the same.
Or even like Neutral Milk Hotel. It's like you like there are like levels of, you can get it but not necessarily to feel the same way, which I'm kind of there.
Yeah.
You can.
That's how I feel about Neutral Milk Hotel. Actually, I understand why somebody would like really love them. I think that they are solid.
Yeah,
it's my honest assessment.
Millie recently listened to In the Airplane of the Sea.
Thinking about that, yeah,
and felt very intensely about it.
Neutral Milk Network. That's a real head scratcher right there.
Yeah, but actually, I used to be. I was never like a Stan level fan exactly of Neutral Milk Hotel, but I was a very thorough fan. In that, I am pretty sure I have like 12 different live recordings of theirs.
That's many.
Yeah, I mean, but then.
Oh, hey, I just thought this is like barely relevant to the conversation, so I apologize. But I thought of like an actual music opinion I hold that could be considered a quote-unquote hot take about some music this year. Because I think that the River City Girls OST is like one of the best albums that's come out this year.
I have heard that River City Girls is fun.
It is. The soundtrack is made by like a bunch of people that used to do not very good YouTube joke music, which is all the more surprising to me that it's very good.
Interesting.
It's the sort of thing that I don't think will be for everybody, but I like it a lot. And
Fair.
I got a friend of the channel, Roxy, bought me a physical copy of the game, which comes with the soundtrack on a sleeved CD.
Avra, I have heard some microphone stuff.
Hold on, I actually have it like right behind me.
Like,
let me take a look.
I have heard the Glow Part 2, their debut, which the name is escaping me, and the Mount Erie record, which later named the project Mount Erie.
The River City Girls OST features music composed by Megan McDuffie, I don't know her, Chip Zell, Nate Wants to Battle, Christina V, and Dale North. I think the one I was mostly thinking of there was Nate Wants to Battle, who used to do like jokey Pokemon-themed music, I think.
Wait, Christina V, that's... Where do I know the name from?
I don't know.
Anyway.
Point is, it's just like not a group of people I would have expected to make a very good album.
Yeah, I've been meaning to get around to some of Phil Elverum's more recent work for a while now. Also, I would like to mention...
V is a voice actor, okay.
Yeah, I thought... Yeah, that's where I knew her name. She was in the dub of Madoka Magica.
Oh, yeah!
If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think she's one of the two girls in River City Girls. Fun fact, despite the fact that the game was made partly for the Japanese market and is based off of a Japanese IP...
Oh, yeah.
There is no Japanese language voice track in River City Girls.
Huh. But, incidentally, I've heard regarding the, English dub of Madoka Magica that actually the two best performances in it are Christina V as Homura, and I can't remember what her name is, as, Kyubey. That, like, a lot of the others are, like, they're fine, they're just not really as good as the, Japanese performances.
I mean, that makes sense, Go-Go. It just struck me as somewhat unusual. I suppose
Yeah, I
it
also
makes
have to
sense,
rewatch Madoka.
given that
It's been a very long time.
voice acting is like an actual industry over there. But yeah, music is the universal language.
Okay,
Can
so
it
like,
manage to repair the damage
like in terms of,
done by those people in power and save the world in its 11th hour? Thank you. That was the rap from fucking Templehead by the Transglobal Underground.
weird.
A song that I actually really like, but like I'm not entirely sure I could articulate why.
So, albums I've listened to this year that are actually really, really good. Let's see. I mean, I've already mentioned There Existed an Addiction to Blood and Hiding Places, but let's see. A lot of these are going to be things that, like, you know, are not going to be most people's cup of tea. Just fair warning.
I always have a hard time remembering what came out when. I need to like open my rate your music. Hold on.
Fair. But so, like, I mean, I've already talked to death. I don't know if I've done it here. Well, okay. I'm just gonna, go through it, like, in the order that I wrote them down in my notebook.
Look at them
Uboa's
using
The Origin of My
notebooks.
Depression. Which is, oh, I need to listen
like
to the new
a dark
Swans.
ambient album, isn't it?
Sort
noise
of.
record?
Kind of. It's like on this weird border between, like, I don't know. It's like there are definitely tracks which would be classified as like death industrial or power electronics, but like it's not all that. It's like, I guess there are elements that are more ambient leaning, but it's more reflective and uncomfortable.
Well, ambient music is not necessarily.
I mean, yes.
All
I know.
one mood.
Well, I mean, those reflective and uncomfortable does describe a lot of dark ambient music. It's just that it's like, I don't know. Normally, I don't think of dark ambient music as having vocals that are of prominence and like, are
Oh yeah,
like the focus.
Two that came out this year that I haven't heard most people mention, neither of which are rap music. Utility by Barker and Raving Disco Breaks by Aristru.
I don't know either of those.
The Barker record is like a techno album, but there's no percussion.
Huh.
And Raving Disco Breaks is technically a DJ mix, but it was released in album format, so I'm counting it.
Okay.
Of like house music from the 80s and 90s.
Neat. Yeah, like, Go-Go Otaku, brought up, Lingua Ignota's Caligula, which I nominated for our little server album club. Yeah, that album is fucking intense. Well, so is the Uboa record. Like, both of these came out this, like, The Origin of My Depression, like, yeah, I guess it is sort of a dark ambient, like, well, technically Death Industrial is, like, generally defined as that weird gray area between power electronics and dark ambient music. Like, where there are vocals and it's generally super fucking ominous and noisy and weird, but it's not like... It's not like in your face.
Like, disassociated from the world for a second. What are we talking about?
I was trying to, like, describe what Death Industrial is, because I was talking about the Uboa record. But yeah, like, it's like, stuff that is too ambient to qualify as power electronics, like not as much like over, out in your face screaming and stuff, and like the noise is more restrained, but it's not like chill enough to be dark ambient, quote unquote chill.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, I guess so. Uboa, like, there's a lot of stuff like gamelan instrumentation and like soft piano stuff going on, and like sort of gently sung passages, but then there are also moments where it's just like fucking shrieking. That's also true of the Lingua Ignota album, although there's more like, that's more dramatic and like directly influenced by, classical and operatic composition. And also metal. Like, there are like one or two songs on Caligula which like go headlong into like blackened doom metal territory.
I still can't with metal genre names.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's
I should just get over it, but like every
black
time
metal
someone
is because
says blackened doom metal, I just die.
well, it's because
I know
so
I am aware of the etymology. It's just like it's a silly combination of words.
what did Avra say about White House?
Speaking of power electronics, remember when Clipping made a song out of a White House song?
Yes, Wriggle, which is based on,
haven't they done that more
like,
than
it
once?
heavily samples Philip Best's vocal performance from the chorus, quote unquote, of Wriggle Like a Fucking Eel, which is a very unsettling and weird song.
Is it as unsettling and weird as Wiggle by Jason Derulo?
That song is, I have to admit, that song is like so bad it's fantastic. Like, I kind of unironically enjoy Wiggle for how terrible it is.
I like the weird whistle.
Yeah, the whistle is like it's just it kind of like, it's not on the level of, Big Sean's Dance, where it's just like,
okay, dance is so
actually
bad
good.
that it's art.
Yeah, exactly. Like, that's actually kind of like, he knows what he's doing on that song. He knows.
Built a house upon that ass. That's an ass just like, you know.
Do you know what Jason Derulo's actual name is?
No.
Jason Derulo. As in, with the fucking French spelling, because he's actually of Haitian descent.
Oh. I mean, that makes sense. I thought you were gonna tell me it was like, I don't know, John.
No, it is
something.
actually just Derulo. Because he's Haitian. It's just that, like, it's a lot easier to spell, like, to pronounce something correctly if it's spelled more, like, without lots of silent letters.
Like,
the point.
Not an unusual thing for people to do if they're trying to become famous.
Yeah, like, but yeah, it's like an intensely French name.
Ugh. You know what album I thought was really good this year, and most people seem to have like already forgotten about it, is the fucking Injury Reserve self-titled.
I have heard that was really good, yeah.
Most people I talk to think that it was like okay, but I thought it was actually quite good.
So yeah, I need to go through my fucking list now.
No, like, these are I don't know. Like, Lil Jon sounds that way on purpose.
Yeah.
Like Lil Jon is a like a very accomplished producer. Now, his vocal performances, I think you could maybe make the argument.
But, so Origin of My Depression, really good album. Caligula, fantastic album. Also clearly heavily influenced by Diamanda Galas, which I think is, like, kind of transparently obvious, but it's like, Diamanda Galas has, like, done a lot of live performances in the past, like, decade or so, but she's done very little studio work, which is a little unfortunate. I please, Diamanda, bless us with new material.
Don't know who that is.
If you feel so inclined. If she does. But okay, Jute Geit's By Refringens. Which,
Nope.
Jute Geit I've talked about before. He makes microtonal black metal.
You're a microtonal black metal.
Oh yeah, and that album ends with a 12-minute dark ambient piece that is also a total serialist piece.
Hey, Shredney.
Yeah? Yeah?
Is there anything on that list that's, like, that doesn't have a 12-minute outro?
I was about to talk about Elizabeth Colorwheel's album Nocebo, which doesn't.
I don't think I've heard of that one.
Well, that one was one of the two on, like, I have written down here that Millie recommended to me. It's like this sort of really unusual sounding, like, kind of old school post-hardcore-ish thing, but it's very distinctive. Female vocalist with this kind of reedy voice. Very meditative and, like, quietly intense.
I do not mean anything bad by this. It's just like whenever you name your favorite sorts of music, I always just have this thought like, wow, we have very little in common in terms of taste in music. Like one of my favorite songs from this year was a very sappy pop song called The Bones. I think is currently sitting at like number 20 something on the Hot 100.
By who?
I forget actually. It's I think Amanda something. Hold on.
Wait, I have heard of this.
And like I'm one of those people that thinks Old Town Road is unironically a very good song. Maren Morris, that's her name.
Maren Morris. Oh yeah. Yeah, like, Maren
I think
Morris...
she's actually a Christian singer-songwriter.
No, she's a country artist.
Okay.
Sorta.
Same difference.
Yeah, well, yeah, kinda. But, I mean, she's like, you know, sort of a country/pop singer. Apparently she's a, like, the general consensus is she's actually a better, songwriter than she is a singer, and that when she's, you know, working on her, you know, own country material, she's at her best. Like, because
I like The Bones a lot, and that's very much a pop song.
Yeah, like I recall hearing that was decent. Yeah, like it's just I haven't heard it, so I can't really say anything about it.
I don't think many people hate. Well, some people definitely hate Old Town Road, but I think a lot of people relegate it.
Old Town Road.
No, I'm not talking about you specifically, but like I feel like a lot of people kind of relegate it to like a silly novelty song. I actually just think it's a good piece of music.
It is, you know? Like.
Is a little odd, but that's
it is bad. Definitely a little odd, but like it's got like some genuine pathos underlining it.
Especially like I've kind of come to agree with Todd in the Shadows. I feel like the remix with Billy Ray Cyrus kind of
finishes
the song.
Yeah,
almost.
it completes it. And also the fact, like, again, like I recall from, I think, like I recall, like, apparently he talked in an interview, Lil Nas X, about like the context
Who
for when
did?
he wrote it, which there actually is more pathos to it than you would expect. Like it.
I've seen like the Genius interview. I don't
Oh,
know if that's true, and I kind of don't care. Like I just think
yeah. Oh no.
it's got applicability, and I think it's difficult to write. Like there's people who would like to be able to write a song that is fairly broad like that,
Yeah.
um, but also like broad enough that people can relate to it, but specific enough that it doesn't feel generic.
Mhm.
That is a very hard line to walk in pop music,
Yeah.
and I think Old Town Road does it.
Yeah. I actually think that you might actually like possibly like the Elizabeth Color Wheel album. Maybe not
Maybe.
maybe not love it, but I think you would find it at least interesting because
I would be willing to listen to it sometime.
it is like because it is like there's a lot of stuff that I like which I know is like way more abrasive than anything you'd have time for.
I that's kind of I think the central divisor in our music tastes is I really do not like abrasive music most of the time. Like I can get into things that have like a little bit of roughness to them, but
Hmm.
not like uh what would you how would you put it? Like anything that causes me actual physical discomfort. I'm like,
That's
no,
fair.
thank you.
Like I
Like
am not
I've
gonna
tried sitting down with some quote unquote accessible noise music before, and it just
like
I just
what?
the only one I remember is Merzbow, but I've
Mers Merzbow is weird because like there's some albums of his that like I can sort of like. The problem is the one that like some of the ones that like get memed on the most, like Pulse Demon, are like his least interesting to me. Oh,
uh
Entertainment Through Pain is
that's
actually like
that's
a quote from
fair.
Throbbing Gristle,
I do
for
not
the record.
remember which albums I was instructed to listen to. This was some time ago, but
Oh yeah, like
I gave a couple a shot, and I was just like, I don't think this genre is my bag. Like I think I don't think that people who like noise music are like trying to pull anything. I totally believe that there are people who genuinely like that kind of thing. And I only say that because I know that a common line in people who criticize uh, noise music or even just say that they don't like it is like, oh, people are just pretending to like this. And I don't think that way. It's just like, I
yeah,
don't, it just doesn't do anything for me.
yeah. It's just I mean like if I were going to recommend something noise related to you, it would definitely be something like more on the dark ambient side of things because I've noticed that you have a certain affinity for certain dark ambient leaning
I
things.
like some dark ambient music.
Like,
I like those fucking YouTube mixes which always have names like fucking awakening from the cryo chamber 3 days after whatever the fuck.
there,
Um,
like, I could probably show you some like early Brighter Death Now or something like who are the guys who originated the term death industrial, basically.
maybe like I'm trying to
Like
think of like near noise things that I've liked. I've liked a couple things I've heard by Muslim gods.
Muslim Gauze Muslim Gauze is interesting because he was very consistent, but he also produced a fuck ton of music.
And
Like,
fucking a few things I've heard by Bass Communion that I liked.
like,
Not
Muslim
recently,
Gauze,
but like, you know.
yeah, like, there's probably some old school industrial stuff that you'd find interesting, because,
Maybe
like,
I have a vague memory of listening to like a Nurse with Wound album once and being like, oh, this is pretty interesting. But that was when I was like,
yeah, Nurse
15,
with Wounds seems
so I don't know.
like Nurse with Wounds seems like an artist you would appreciate, because so Stephen Stapleton has like a definite sense of humor about his work, but it's not like a super obvious jokey ha-ha kind of sense of humor. It's more like his music is extremely droll. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, they say that La Vie is droll.
what?
They say that La Vie is droll.
Okay.
I don't know. It's just like
That's a line from Kill La Kill, isn't it?
Yes.
Life is droll. Yes.
I was trying to think of where I knew that from, and I was
drôle.
like, wait, yeah, that's from Kill la Kill.
La vie est drôle. Yeah.
Which
like,
I also don't think it's real French.
No,
So-
that is actual French. It
Well, like
just
if
means
it, I don't
life is
think
droll.
it's grammatically correct. Is what I mean. I might be
No,
wrong
la
about
vie
that.
est drôle would be grammatically correct French.
But yeah, I don't know. Actually,
But,
I have this fun thing that happens to me every time I go to the fucking Blaze Pizza a couple blocks away, which is that like whoever programs their music has good taste, because I always end up Shazamming something. And today,
Okay.
when I went, that was such a shame by the First Aid Kit, who are a band that I had literally never heard of before today.
I have heard that name before, and I don't know the context.
They are a indie band of some description, I believe.
Yeah, I know that. That's
yeah.
It's one of those sort of things where it's like, I have definitely heard of them, and I don't know the context in which I have.
Actually, here's, I think, an interesting question. Instead of best, like, what are just some of your favorite albums?
Period?
Yeah.
Oh god, that's hard. Oh god, that's
I'm
so
not
fucking
asking
hard.
you to assemble a list. I'm just being like, you know, if you were to assemble, like, a top, 1,000 favorite albums, what would be
so, like,
somewhere on that list?
Dialect's first 3 albums.
All 3 of them, really.
Like, it would be hard to, like, probably, Negro Necro Necros is the weakest of the 3, but it also has, Praise Be the Man, which is such a fucking good song. And also has Swollen Tongue Burns, which is one of the more unsettling portrayals of drug addiction.
Man, I remember when Dialect were like a going concern, and I feel like nobody knows about them anymore.
No, they came back, and now they are going.
Like I know that they're still around. I feel like they're not, like, they don't have the same level of underground relevancy,
like they did
I guess,
in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, because again, they went on hiatus forever, and Alap Momin is no longer in. He's not in the current incarnation. It's like he gave his blessing and everything, and all the members who are currently in the group are
I just mean, like, in
former
terms
members.
in terms of, like, general, just, like, people knowing who they are. Like, I feel like they kind of, like, they're one of those groups that kind of got left in their era, which is sort of unfortunate in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because I was never a huge fan of theirs, but they definitely make interesting music.
Yeah, and, like, I still haven't heard their latest 2 albums, and I've been meaning to.
Yeah,
like,
I think the unfortunate
curious.
fact about Dialect is that despite the groups being very different, Death Grips kind of took their lunch in terms of, like,
Yeah, kinda.
Like
I mean, like,
that
they're
niche, that particular kind of rap.
like well, yes, sorta. I mean, but the interesting thing with Death Grips is I think that they actually also it's a weird symbiotic relationship in that there are a bunch of people who, through getting into Death Grips, wound up getting into guys like Dialect and Moody Black and so forth, who were doing this stuff like
To
way
to be
fucking back.
clear, Shredney is using the term "guys" in like a generalized, non-gendered sense.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
Moody Black is, I believe, MTF transgender.
Yeah,
Just
like
to have
I
that off
think
at
so.
the pass.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I can't remember like the exact. Yeah, I'd
I,
have to
I
look that
know
up.
I know that they are some type of genderqueer. I just don't remember what kind off the top of my head. And I only
Yeah,
know that because they were recommended to me on that basis. In fact, I think that might have been Marone who recommended them to me.
yeah, like yeah, they're. But I mean, like, guys, in like the most general
Yeah, no,
non-gendered sense.
I
Yeah,
know
is
what you
what's
mean. Yeah,
like the
no,
point.
no.
Is like, yeah, but like a
Artists,
lot of
like, yeah.
these folks who'd been doing this, you know, for years or even decades, who, you know, a lot of people would just not have paid attention to or known about, or had fallen into obscurity, who, you know, have gotten a second lease on life, artistically speaking, through Death Grips and, you know,
I wonder if that's
like
ever
also
going to
Death
happen to
Grips.
Pedestrian. I think people have totally forgotten about that guy. He
Um,
was like one of the people signed to
huh.
Anticon, and he made weird, vaguely industrial, indebted rap music like that.
I'm intrigued. I should look into
He
this guy.
has one song in my opinion that is very good, which is
Mm,
"Back to Burn" featuring themselves, and the rest
okay.
of his music I kind of just don't care for. But it's one of those things where I could like imagine somebody getting really into him.
Okay. Also, Gogo, you are demonstrating that you have very good taste. Um,
The Money Store or Bottomless Pit. I like. There are many albums I would put on such a list. I could make a case for a good chunk of Aesop Rock's discography. I would probably go for Impossible Kid if I had to pick
hmm.
just one. Um, or that's a hard one actually. If I had to pick just one, I'd probably have to pick uh, Impossible Kid and Labor Days. Well, honestly, like he doesn't have any bad albums. That would be tough. Shredney?
Yeah, I was just thinking.
Oh, okay.
Is like with Dialect, I'm torn is as to if I had to pick one, like whether I would go with
Oh no, I'm not
from the filthy.
enforcing. I'm not
I
enforcing this
know,
rule for
no,
anybody else.
but
I'm
I'm just
just yeah.
saying because I'm thinking about it is like Absence as an album, like as a whole album experience, is astonishing. Like especially like the way it builds to Ever Somber, which I think is the second to last track. Which
I haven't listened to Dialect in many years, so I can't
uh,
help you
I
there.
I recommend going back to them because it's some good shit.
I like the
But
first time I listened to Dialect was long enough ago that I bought their album on iTunes.
yeah, I can understand that. Yeah,
It was
like
I forget which one is the one with the cover with the guy like reaching his hands up to the sky.
from and that was the other one is their second album is from the Filthy Tongues of Gods and Griots.
Gods and
That
Griots,
one
yeah.
opens with Spiritual Healing, which holy shit. You know, who you pray to, my God, and then blank God. You know, it's like that
Yeah.
hook Just, which, is, like, about the, sort of way that systemic racism has been reinforced through religion. And is just... It's
the only album worth listening to is Banana Phone by Rafi. San Holo. There's an interesting pick. Are you familiar
I don't know
with,
San Holo.
He's I don't know how I describe him. Like an electronic musician with kind of almost like a pop ambient sort of thing, if that makes any sense. I like his music.
Kinda does.
Or no, I'm thinking of Com Truise. Different artist named after a celebrity with the first two words switched around.
Oh, incidentally, that does remind me because of, like, I think, like, what little I've heard of Com Truise being in a vaguely similar vein is an artist who I don't know if I would qualify any of his records as, like, being necessarily up there, but an artist whose work consistently has, like, a vibe that I really, really like is Torn Hawk.
Oh yeah, that guy.
Like,
I have not listened to much of his music. I feel like I'd probably like it, though.
Oh, no. I think that you would really like Torn Hawk. He's got, like...
Actually, like, a really... on a similar note to Torn Hawk. An album that I would put on my all-time favorites list that I don't think many other people would is Persistence of Vision by VHS Head. It is a really weird electronic album made entirely out of samples from VHS tapes. It is
neat.
Really, really good.
Neat. You should link me to this at some point.
I think it's on YouTube. If you want to.
Well, yeah,
I will see what I can do about that after the show.
So, like, stuff that I've also really liked, what else? There's Consumer Electronics Airless Space, which, like, Consumer Electronics are generally understood as, like, a power electronics group, but, like, this album is, like, it's, like, really weird techno beats combined with, like, spoken word that occasionally gets really intense. It's, like, almost like a cross between, like, acting or, like, poetry performance, kind of, like, crossed with, like, industrial techno, with occasional, like, really weird, noisy, synthy parts.
Interesting.
And really good production. That's, like, that is my, like, There Existed an Addiction to Blood probably is my album of the year thus far. That's my number 2.
My favorite album that came out this year was Anima Mysterium by Eugen Blackrock.
Yeah, and that is one of the many albums, along with... You know what's another hip-hop album I haven't heard yet that I really want to hear? Quelle Chris's Guns.
I don't like Quelle Chris that much. I think he makes interesting albums. I feel like he's one of those guys who got really dizzy for a second. That was fun. I feel like he's one of those guys whose ambition kind of outstrips his abilities. But I think he will make a truly great record someday.
Have you heard Guns?
No, I have not heard Guns yet. So, like, maybe
I have heard from people who haven't liked
that great record. But if it's not, I'm sure he will make it someday.
Like, I have heard from a few people who generally aren't huge fans of his that this is really fucking good. So, and also from people who already really like him that it's one of his best. So,
yeah, fair enough.
Like, so I'm hearing from both ends.
I did call him cute on Twitter once, and he replied with a winky face.
Oh, that's really great.
That was years ago, but I think of it anytime I read anything about him.
Oh my fucking
Bye,
god.
Opera.
Bye, Opera.
But yeah, that was a fun thing that happened. It's one of the few like positive famous people interactions I've ever had on Twitter.
um, but what was I gonna say? Is like so. What else? Ramla's The Great Unlearning, which is like a psychedelic noise rock record. Same vocalist as the main guy in Consumer Electronics, although Consumer Electronics is Philip Best and his wife. Her name is escaping me. Sarah Froelich, and also Russell Haswell is the sort of co-producer.
Hey.
Yeah.
Philip Worst.
No. Well, okay. I think you would feel that way knowing that Philip Best was the other vocalist in White House that wasn't William Bennett. And, well, okay, there were actually several other vocalists depending on the period, but, like, he was the one who is most known for being the really high-pitched, intense, shrill one.
Nice.
He doesn't do that so much on this album.
Trying to think
He does that on some... What?
Of rappers with really unusual delivery. I can't think of too many. I guess E40, like, he's kind of been at it for so long that I think people kind of overlook how odd his rapping style is. Have you ever listened to much by E40? Fredney?
No. No, I have not.
He's from the Bay Area, and, like, to a point, I think a lot of the things he does are kind of just, like, Bay Area stylistic things. But,
yeah,
he's got, like a very particular rapid-fire delivery.
Huh.
That is what makes him E40, yeah. I do like E40,
yeah.
Don't get me wrong.
In terms of, like, odd delivery, I mean, the really obvious one, like, so obvious it need not really be said, is, like, Danny Brown.
Danny Brown, I think, mostly just has an odd vocal tone.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, his delivery is not that peculiar.
Yeah, which, I mean, that's another conversation we could have, in which case I think it would be remiss to not mention Dose One, who sounds like a cartoon fly sometimes. I don't think he'd disagree with that assessment.
Oh dear.
Also, do you know there's footage of I forget which one, but one of the Scribble Jam competitions of Dose One and Eminem having a rap battle before anybody knew who either of those people were.
Oh my.
Yeah. It is, because it's like camcorder footage from the 90s, you can't really hear most of it very well, but it does exist.
Oh dear. Well,
people argue in the comments about who won, because that's what the rap internet fandom is, unfortunately.
Yeah. Oh, so some more albums. Thelma's The Only Thing, which is very odd. It's another Millie suggestion. Like, how do I even explain it? It's like, it reminded me simultaneously of Kate Bush and Cardiacs.
Those
which
are
is
reference
not
points that don't mean anything to me.
You've never heard anything by Kate Bush?
I've heard a few things by Kate Bush, but I don't know who Cardiacs are.
Cardiac were a band, well, they're on pretty significant hiatus because their main guy had a stroke. Well, series of strokes.
Yeah.
And he's been recovering for the last, like, decade and a half. But, like, he really, like, he wasn't able to speak for a while.
Oh, yeah,
unfortunately.
that'll do it.
Like, I mean, he has his full, like, intellectual faculties and things, but he was,
Well, yeah.
like, barely... But which is actually, in some ways, worse. Because it's like... And you can't even talk.
I don't want to talk about this.
But he's...
To be
but
quite
I mean,
honest
like...
with you.
Yeah, I completely understand. He's doing a lot better now.
Well, that's good.
Hasn't gone back to music yet. He's still in therapy, but is a lot better than he was.
Yeah.
They, like, were, like, people describe them as a prog punk band, quote unquote.
That's an interesting description.
Like, they just have, like, the most wild, like, they have a very distinctive, like, sort of chord progression structure that they use on a couple of songs that is, like, the Cardiac's cadence, you know, which is, like, really fucking weird, which is part of why, you know, like, it's like, I don't know how to explain it. It's like they do stuff like they'll have these really odd sudden key changes in the middle of things and, like, weird stop-start structures and just, like, very peculiar, almost math-rocky rhythms, but at the same time everything's eminently hummable. You know what I mean?
Hummable.
Like, that they actually have
I know what you
tunes,
mean. It's just
and they're
an
catchy.
interesting. It's just an interesting turn of phrase.
Yeah, it's like, but it's weird in combination with, like, having these weird herky-jerky rhythms with these really catchy melodies. And, like one good example is, like, the song Nurse's Whispering Verses, which was from their, like, second cassette, and then they did a version on their album Sing to God years later. And it's got this riff that's like...
Actually
And it's like... It just gets fucking lodged in your brain. It is, like, the best guitar riff of all time. But basically, like, why I sort of was thinking of, like, Kate Bush and Cardiacs when listening to Thelma is, like,
that
they've got...
The greatest guitar riff of all time is the opening to Bad Moon Rising by Creedence Clearwater Revival.
I mean, Creedence Clearwater Revival are, like, unironically a really good band.
Yes.
But at the same time, it's like, you know, it's all a matter of taste here.
No,
like,
you
personal.
don't understand. I'm stating a statement of fact.
And I'm also stating a statement of fact when I say that the guitar riff to Nurse's Whispering Verses is the fucking riff. It's the riff. It is a solved science.
A solved science.
Yes. Yes, it's like some weird game theory shit. Like we have solved the riff. And that riff is Nurse's Whispering Verses.
You know what is an album that I would put on a personal favorites list that I don't think many people would? Well, I don't know. It would depend on who you asked, I guess. Well, there's several answers I could give, but the one I'm thinking of is one of the few actual just, like, rock albums that's really dear to me is Farewell Astoria by the Ataris.
Huh. I don't know a ton about the Ataris. I know that they
are a pop punk band.
Yeah,
one of the ones that never super broke through. Like, they had a couple hits, but I don't think they were ever...
Yeah, they were never, like
huge.
Huge.
Yeah.
Like, they were not...
because they're my favorite of them.
Yeah, they were never, like, Blink-182 scale.
Yeah.
Or Green Day scale.
Yeah. Or even, like, Sum 41 scale, I don't think.
Yeah.
But they had... The one everybody knows from that record is the cover of Boys of Summer. But it's a very good album. through and through.
But yeah,
like the my most recent album, I sampled the riff from Hero Dies in this one on the one song.
Oh, I was just gonna say in terms of like, this album, like to try to explain it without like using those reference points, like of this film album. The only thing is like, basically, it's like this sort of odd pop music sung by a woman with a very high, sort of soft, girlish voice, but about kind of odd subject matter, and like the chord progressions and structures and stuff are really strange and don't go where you expect them to go. And it's got like interesting kind of like minimalistic, vaguely electronic production, but also with rock instrumentation worked in.
Something I like is when you saying that reminded me of this. I like in rap music where I cannot predict what the rhyme is going to be.
Yeah. I
And
get what you mean.
People seem to not care about that in general nearly as much as I do.
I care about that sort of thing.
Control? Hello again, Marone. But,
oh no.
I just, oh, that's an M. I thought he was saying...
That is where Marone watches Bible Black. Clearly.
What?
Bible Black.
No.
Clearly.
God, we don't fucking talk about that show anymore.
Would you
if the word show is even applicable, which I'm not sure that it is.
What? Should we just talk about more wholesome hentai?
I'm gonna fucking fight you in real life.
Like the fucking tights anime?
Stop. Stop. Link wholesome dojins. No. We're not
I mean, there
doing
are wholesome
this.
dojins.
We're not doing
this.
this.
I wasn't talking about H dojins. I was just saying, like, there are wholesome dojins in existence.
The Bible.
It's like, not all dojinshi is porn. Oh god, what have I wrought? Granted, I brought it up because Meron has brought it up before. But yeah, just all of us in pain right now. My work here is done. Anyway, not being able to predict exactly what the rhyme is or where it's gonna go is fun.
There's a bit in fucking Limelighters by Aesop Rock and Camp Low. I don't even remember what the first line is, but he rhymes it with turn tail like a seahorse, which is just a really great turn of phrase.
Yeah.
You see, because seahorses have...
Yeah! Yeah. That's dope.
Yes. Yeah, it's a...
That's fucking dope.
Bazooka Tooth is a really good album, which is only marred by the presence of Cook It Up, which is one of the few Aesop Rock songs I just don't like.
Fair. What was I gonna say? Well, actually, in terms of like the unpredictable, like simultaneously like rhyme scheme, but also like a weird gimmick thing, is like, speaking of, we already brought this up. It was like LP's verse on The Last Huzzah, where he does the counting thing.
Yeah.
Like, damn, that's really fucking good.
There's also a reference to the then recent Fukushima disaster, which, you know.
Oh dear.
Yeah. On that
There's
verse.
like, yeah, and that's just getting me to thinking about that whole thing that Pausing selected on Nichijoke and Sakaike anime and things.
Wait, how does that make you think of that?
Because the Fukushima disaster.
Yeah, okay, no. Yeah. Well, no, that wasn't in the isekai episode. That was in the
Not the
world
I wasn't
story
talking about
episode.
isekai. I was talking about the Sekai and Nichijou
Oh, okay.
like part of his series on Apocalypse.
I just misheard you, I guess.
Not to be confused with Naruke, which he does talk about occasionally.
I think we can just use the term world story to prevent this from being a very confusing
World story, but
conversation.
Nichijou doesn't really have like a. It's an everyday story, but nah, that's not quite what it means.
Well, that's the one that people translate as endless everyday, right?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, the endless everyday story.
Which is more of a concept than a genre.
Yeah, but it does often refer to a type of story. In that it is defined. Like it is a concept that defines a certain type of story.
I mean, people, like... It's weird because things that we think of as several distinct genres all fall into that category, despite not having much in common otherwise.
Exactly.
Various Ayashike shows, which... Actually, Ayashike is the one where I use the Japanese term, because I don't know what the fuck you translate that as.
They're usually referred to as healing anime?
But that just doesn't...
But that doesn't
mean anything. Like...
Yeah, it doesn't make sense without the cultural context.
I like ambient anime is the one I heard once, which I feel like almost works.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like... Yashike, it's like, there is not even close to a good translation. Whereas, like, at least Sekai literally it's world story, but that has a lot of other implications.
Yeah, but like, once you learn what it means. The other thing is that I don't like using those terms because I get them mixed up all the time.
Yeah, that's fair. Like,
It is weird how isekai managed to catch on as a term in the...
Well, I mean, English especially when the term otherworld is actually a thing in English.
Yeah, although also, like, arguably American anime fans use the term isekai too narrowly, but...
Yeah, they do. They use it to refer to Naruke isekai.
Which and Naruke is a specific subgenre, and we are now down about a dozen different rabbit holes.
And also, Naruke can refer to stuff that isn't isekai.
Yes.
And then they use the term isekai to refer to it, except...
Well,
they use the term wrong.
Naruke is like... is like defined by a... Like, it's named after a magazine, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
or
and
like
it refers to that whole dying and becoming stronger thing.
Yeah.
You know, that invincibility thing.
Yeah. But, also, Gogo, just to let you know that your comment has not gone unread. We're Famous kind of sticks out on Bazooka Tooth to me, but I don't mind it, even though it's in like, the bottom half of songs on that record for me. I just really don't like Cook It Up. I think it's the chorus. Anyway. But, like, you know... Anime. Hey, you want to talk? We can talk about anime, like the other thing that we talk about on these streams.
No, I just wanted to complete my like babbling about like good albums this year. Shushu's Girl with Basket of Fruit. I would not recommend that one to you because it is noisy and disturbing as fuck. Yeah, it's also about institutional misogyny. Black Midi Schlagenheim.
Just found out about misogyny. That shit's whack for real. Thank you. That's just a direct read of a tweet that I made the other day.
Oh dear lord. Yeah, but
Ray Earth? I've never seen Ray
Earth. Yeah, Ray Earth is an isekai thing with it is a magic mecha show that is also an isekai. That is also a shoujo action series.
Was this a genre for a while? Because that's also what the vision of Escaflowne is.
Yeah, except this was Clamp.
Yeah.
Also doing this.
And Escaflowne is the guy who nowadays is making Stars Align, which is a good show. Like, maybe the only potentially great thing airing this season.
Hmm. I intend to watch Beastars because I'm
Stars
filthy trash.
Align and Beastars are two different shows.
I am aware. I also intend to watch Stars Align.
I see.
Because it looks good.
It is good. It is not the kind of thing that is normally, like, even remotely my thing. But it's good enough that I don't really care.
And also, there is a kid who is, like, just happens to be gay.
Yeah.
And it's just like,
there's
yeah, sure.
there's a whole thing about that. But the show is very good.
Yeah, I saw the
am
scene with that, and that was extremely cute.
I am only following 3 things this season, other than Star Twinkle Precure, which is like a leftover from the start of the year.
Yeah, it's Precure, it doesn't count.
Yeah. Like, I'm following Stars Align, Outburst Dreamer Boys, and No Guns Life. Are you familiar with those other 2?
Yeah, I know of Outburst Dreamer Boys, and I know about No Guns Life because we've talked about it.
Yeah, you see, the thing with No Guns Life is that his head is a gun.
I know!
But Shredney, I need you to understand that.
But he's also Moe.
But his head is a gun.
His head is a gun.
Look,
and
it's
sometimes
actually
he's chibi.
It's actually that I shouldn't say that Stars Align has a monopoly on, like, possibly being great this season, because, like, No Guns Life has been very good so far, and I think it might end up becoming, like, sort of a, like, Ghost in the Shell standalone complex-y-ish thing.
Neat.
But we'll see how that goes. Outburst Dreamer Boys is interesting, and I have, like, a crackpot theory that it's going to pull an Anime Guitaris at some point.
What does that mean?
Ah, right, you haven't seen that show. Don't worry about it.
I know it gets very meta.
My hunch is that. Do you know what Outburst Dreamer Boys is about?
They are, like, isn't that the one with the club full of chunies?
Yes. The main character is a girl, and
she's just, like, surrounded by these fucking, like, chuny bio boys.
Surrounded by these chuny kids. My hunch, based on a couple of things in the show, is that it's going to turn out in, like, the last episode or something that all of the chuny things are real somehow. Or something like that. I have. That's my crack.
So like some Dempa Ona shit.
Sure. Yeah. Actually, yeah. Exactly like Ground Control, the Psychoelectric Girl.
Yeah. Like, oh boy.
That's my theory, but who knows?
Oh wow. I still need to finish that. I do happen to know that twist in it because it's like. It's the thing that everybody knows about that show. Everybody knows that about
Shredney, your anime watching habits make me suffer sometimes.
I've seen 8 out of 12 episodes of that.
How?
And I really liked
it. That's almost done!
I know! It was like, I wasn't in the mood for it at the time, and I decided I'm going to get back to this in a few days. That was 5 years ago.
See? Shredney, you caused me pain.
I mean, yes, but you know you love it.
Hey. No, that was last year's Kanye West.
Well, what about last year's Kanye West?
I said no, that was last year's Kanye West.
Oh.
He made that song with
yeah.
That was the joke.
That song is...
That song exists.
That song is another one that I have, like, weird, like, this is not good, but I kind of find it amusing.
There's a song by Big Crit and Lil Wayne that has, like, what is basically the exact same beat and is much better. So, I recommend that
I can
song.
believe that. Okay.
If you like any part of I Love It.
Hmm. Okay, yeah. So another good album from this year I heard, Black Midi's Schlagenheim.
Oh yeah,
Section really likes.
those guys released an album. I should listen to that because I like a couple songs that I've heard from them.
Yeah, you should listen to it. It's pretty good.
I am the Iron Man.
I am the what?
I had a thought and I ended up just saying I am the Iron Man because
Oh,
I
okay.
lost the train of thought.
Oh yeah, the endlessly prolific Patricia Taxon produced the album Doraemon, which I actually really, really liked.
As in, it's named after the show.
Yes.
Huh.
It's not the show. I'm not exactly sure where the title comes in, other than is indeed on the cover. There's definitely a reason. I just can't quite parse the precise reason.
You remind
Weird
me
album.
of something, but I don't know what it is.
Oh no, not that song. Not that fucking song. Like, that album is like sort of an electronic pop-ish album that gets increasingly unsettling as it goes on. Also, it's a concept album about having autism.
Maybe it's called Doraemon because, nope. Couldn't think of one.
Yeah, I mean...
I'm batting 0 today, ladies and gentlemen.
Like, I think there is a reason You know, the fact of the matter is, I could probably, like, you know... Patricia Taxon is very, she's on Twitter a lot, I could, like... But, I don't know.
You are occasionally cutting out, and I'm not sure why. Like your microphone is just eating some of your words. Shredney? Shredney! Are they... They're still in the call. Gang, the ferret's gone missing. Hello?
Hello, my connection just died.
Oh, that might explain why. I was like, hey, you I literally, I don't know if you heard it, but like the last thing I said to you was like, hey, sometimes you're not coming through entirely. I guess that was why.
Oh, yeah, like it just died on me.
It does that sometimes, but we're here now, and
yeah,
we're living in the moment here with you.
But yeah, I could probably. What I was saying was just I could probably ask her why it's called Doraemon, but I don't know.
You know what we should do?
Oh yeah, and the other album I listened to, which was really good, was Forced Busing by Interracial Sex, which is...
That's a name for a band as an album.
Well, I mean, he's a biracial power electronics artist.
I mean, I get it.
Who does a lot of stuff about, like, that is explicitly, like, tackling sort of,
I
like,
understand.
systemic racism and shit.
It's just...
And that's why...
In a vacuum, you know?
In a vacuum, it is a very confrontational name, but it's a different kind of confrontational than you think it is.
I suppose so.
Like, his stuff is very pointed, very political, but also, like, super personal. Like, his previous album, Boy, was about, like, his family history of, like, stuff like Alzheimer's, and also of, like, heavy
you
shit
understand my
in
feeling,
his childhood.
Coco.
It's like, yeah, it's like real. His stuff's real dark, and it's really good. It's just, it is really not for everybody. It's like full-on noise.
What if... Oh, Shredney, I didn't tell you about the anecdote that happened to me the other day. Which, it's a situation until I tell it, at which point it becomes an anecdote. But I was walking home from the grocery store, okay?
Uh-huh.
And I walked by this fellow who was straightening his hair out in the window of a car, like he was using it like a mirror.
Okay,
and
yeah.
As he walked by me, he said, "You know I have to keep it fresh." And I have been thinking about that ever since.
I mean, fair.
Like, I get it. He really did have to keep it fresh.
Yeah.
Don't we all have to keep it fresh in our own way?
Yeah. I think Gogo is the one person who would actually, like, who might actually like that album. It's the funny part about it.
I know you didn't mean to, but you super just completely blew off my conversation.
I did not mean to. I was just... I just saw that comment and it was
okay.
Funny. But it's like, yeah, like, the problem is I have nothing to say except, yeah, he's like...
Sometimes you have to do that.
He's totally right.
The funny thing was that he had like a pretty short haircut. He really didn't have much hair to comb. It was just like,
yeah, but like,
whatever you gotta
sometimes
do. Sometimes
your hair gets out of control, you know.
I should comb my hair more than I do. I have, well, anybody who is wants to look at a picture of me can pull up the Queen Johanna cover. Like, I have quite long hair at this point for someone who is AMAB.
I mean, I have longer hair.
You
probably.
do, but like I have not been allowed to have long hair for most of my life. So like I'm not used to it yet, really.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, you gotta like,
because this is one of those things, like, it's a dumb societal standard, like, even if you're completely cisgender. My mom, whenever my hair got too long, would always make me go to the, not even the barber, the fucking holiday hair clips, in town.
Dear Lord,
and
that's ridiculous.
Get it just, like, shaved, basically.
That is fucking ridiculous.
The thing she always told me was that she didn't want people to think we were Amish, which...
What?
Sure, you know... Well, I used to occasionally.
I mean, I know that you live near the Amish, but still, what?
Like, to be fairer than is warranted, probably. I used to, and sometimes still do, just out of a combination of dysphoria and general irresponsibility, let my facial hair grow out a fair amount. And I suppose, you know, if I were to take her at her word, which I shouldn't, but if I did, I suppose she simply did not want people thinking that I was a Mennonite, because Mennonites traditionally do not cut their hair. Or if they do, it's only very rarely, and to, like, shape it, not to actually shorten it.
Yeah, I mean, that is, but it's still, like, kind of a weird,
strange,
like, I can get, like, but why would you worry about that?
My mother's a strange person.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, like, no, I can believe that she would believe that that's the case.
Yeah.
But,
who knows? Like, I don't know.
I mean, well, actually, no, I can kind of think of reasons, but it's still weird. It's still weird. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are the albums that I've heard that I really, really liked this year. And also, but in terms of like stuff that's like just in general, like albums that I really, really like. I've already talked about Dialect.
What if?
Okay.
What if?
Wire 154.
What if
Yes.
we talked about
Anime.
Mennonites? Who I do
I
not.
don't have a whole lot to say about Mennonites, other than that
Wow.
other than that the ones in Mexico speak Plattdeutsch.
Well, I mean, we all speak Pennsylvania Dutch, which is which is like derived from Platt Dutch.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's related.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a different dialect. Specifically like the dialect with the ones in South America and Central America, it's like derived from the dialect spoken by the Ukrainian and Russian Mennonites.
Oh, okay. That would be a different group then.
Yeah, but yeah, and it's pronounced like Plattdeutsch is how they refer to their language.
Are the Amish bad people? So, like,
that is such a complicated and loaded question.
It is, and I will attempt to answer it anyway. Because Go-Go is not American, so like.
Where's Go-Go from?
I believe Go-Go, you're German, right? Or am I mixing you up with somebody else? If I am, I apologize. But like the thing about Amish people and their relation to what they call the gay Dutch, which that is the actual term, which is non-Mennonite Pennsylvania Dutch, like myself and my family.
As opposed to the English.
Yes, as opposed to the English, which is what they call everybody else. Except for Native Americans, who they call Indians. There you go. That is the three groups of people in the Amish worldview: is gay Dutch, English, and Indians. But
I guess black people are also English.
Yes, that I'm not fucking with you. Yeah.
Yeah, that actually makes sense.
Yeah, they will say they will say, oh, that person is black English, which is not a term that makes any sense to anybody else. But that
I mean, it does historically. It's just
like their point of view is that everybody who is an American is English, like quote unquote, unless
but I get their point. I get the point, like, of why they make the distinction like that.
It just sounds weird if you're not from.
Yeah, if you don't have the cultural context, it sounds bizarre.
Yeah. But anyway, like generally speaking, the Amish are of two minds about us, which is that on the one hand, we are German and therefore not English, which means that we have more in common with them than anybody else in the country does. But one sec. But they also don't like that we are not Mennonite. So, how Amish people treat the English, which is, again, like everybody that's not Pennsylvania Dutch, is generally with what I would describe as indifference. Amish people get stereotyped as rude a lot, which is not quite true. It's just that the sense of manner is very different in Mennonite communities. There's not a lot of small talk, and there's not a lot of like, hi, how are you? Ooh, fine, thank you, blah, blah, blah. Generally, once they are done talking to you, they will kind of just walk away. And that is not them being like upset with you. That's just kind of how they do their thing. That's how they interact with again, the English. How they interact with us depends on what like what order Mennonite they are. The Lancaster Mennonites, very friendly. The Reading Mennonites, also pretty friendly. The people from, like, further towards the middle of Pennsylvania, in my opinion, tend to be real fucking rude to us. Like, and also other Mennonites, because my mom was friends with an Amish couple who ran a small bakery near where we used to live, and those two were nice to us, and they would sometimes get customers from further up the state who basically like treated talking to them like it was this fucking great ordeal they had to undertake.
Dear Lord.
And it was very snooty is the word I would use.
Yeah, like because they deign to interact with the English, so we deign to interact with them.
Basically,
you know,
it's
like there are
odd,
certain Amish communities which definitely have that going on, and it's kind of creepy.
Yeah, like it depends on what order you're talking about.
Yeah, and it's and also like there are, the Amish, there are Mennonites more generally, which includes like the Moravians. Yeah. Like there are a bunch of them.
Like again, the Lancaster Amish, the Reading Amish. They don't pronounce the G in Reading, by the way. It's Reading, but they're very nice. Some of the other orders I have had more mixed experiences with.
Yeah, and then it also all comes down to like individual people to begin with.
Yeah, like there's some variance there too. There was this old guy who ran a souvenir shop in Lancaster. Real prickly. He, like, I don't know why you would run a business where you gotta interact with tourists all the time if your opinion of people who are not exactly like you is obviously so low, but he did.
Maybe it was a family business that he got stuck with it.
Maybe. His wife was very nice. He was not. But, I could like profile half the freaking county for you if I wanted to, but this sounds super German. I mean, I don't know, like
that's not surprising.
Like I don't know other than you, Go-Go, and one other person I know from continental Germany. I don't know any old world Germans. So I don't know if that's typical of the German manner. I imagine that Germans on the whole are perfectly welcoming of people who are not German. You have to understand that Mennonite communities in general, and the Amish in particular, have developed in what is like a very odd environment.
A very insular fashion.
Yeah.
I mean, like, particularly the Amish. Like, there are a lot of other Mennonite communities, types of Mennonites, who are more, like...
Yeah, like the Moravians amenable. And stuff.
They're more amenable to the outside world.
They're basically like anybody else, honestly. Like...
Yeah.
Which I realize even phrasing it that way is a little condescending, but...
it's more like in the sense that they, for example, like, that... Like, a lot of Amish orders tend to, like, the obvious thing is, like, a preference to avoid relying on modern technology.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, a lot of Mennonite orders, it's more that they're just more, reserved with those sort of things.
Yeah.
Like, flashiness is to be avoided at all costs, but otherwise, if you have a car, that's fine.
Yeah, as long as it's not like a Mercedes. Like the Amish tend to take that to an extreme, which is kind of the difference.
Yeah.
Most Amish orders do not even like decorate their barns, in my experience. Like if you are in Pennsylvania, Dutch country, and you pass a Dutch-owned farm, you will see usually like barn stars, or what they call
Mm-hmm.
hexenfoos, which are these
Yeah.
round little paintings with various things on them. If you pass
Yeah,
an
they're
Amish
charms.
barn, yeah, well, people disagree over whether they are supposed to actually be good luck or if they are, Chust for nice, which is to say they don't really mean anything, they're just pretty. I have been involved in. I have been witness to some very heated arguments over whether they are meant to be.
I mean, the term hexenfo literally means, like, a hexer is literally a witch.
Yes, but the term hexenfoo was not coined by a Pennsylvania Dutchman.
Huh.
It was coined by a guy from New York.
Huh.
So I forget what the people who are really adamant that they're not magic call them. Most people just call them hexenfoos nowadays because like the term is caught on in general usage, but you see, you
but
occasionally
it is
meet
worth
people who are very insistent that they are not intended to be any kind of religious and they're just pretty.
Yeah, but at the same time, it is worth noting that, like, the Pennsylvania Dutch have, like, a really strong tradition of, like, essentially, like, ritual magic and things.
The gay Dutch do. That's us.
Yeah, the gay Dutch,
The
yes.
Amish. And,
The Amish do not
the Amish
like
and the
that.
Mennonites, they hate that shit.
because they think, and reasonably so, that it is scary pagan witchcraft shit.
Like my grandmother was practicing. The term varies from place to place. She referred to herself as a hedge witch. For a little while before she eventually converted to Dianic Wicca, which is a bit more organized and has some different principles. But yeah, that is a thing. The term hexer or hex doctor.
Mm-hmm.
Hoodoo doctor is another thing you will hear, which is not a voodoo doctor. That's different.
Yeah,
voodoo
it's a different
is
thing.
kind of a general term for like anything magic or like outside the normal. Bless you. Outside the normal parameters of regular religion. A lot of these people who practice are also practicing Christians. There is a degree of syncretism that goes on there, and people disagree about where Dutch magic comes from as a tradition. You will find people who say, "Oh, we got it from the Native Americans." You will find people who say, "Oh, we got it from back home in Germany." And I don't know. I don't know if there's a scholarly consensus. It's not a very widely studied subject.
It's probably, like, from what I know, like, given, like, what scholarly understanding there is of it, that there are elements of both in there.
That would make the most sense to me. But
like, there are elements that are very distinctly, like, weird remnants of, like, what residual Germanic paganism, essentially.
Yeah.
Like, what clung on after, ostensibly Protestantism had taken over.
Yes.
And then there are elements which were also borrowed from, or sort of syncretically incorporated from, Native American traditions.
Yeah.
And then combined with elements from Christianity and, both Catholic and Lutheran practice.
Yeah. My family is somewhat unusual in that decent chunks of our family are Catholic, which is not the norm for Pennsylvania Dutch communities of any stripe. But that's also a fairly recent development in my family. I think that it's like my great-grandmother converted to Catholicism, or great-great-grandmother. It's not that far back in the family tree.
Yeah, that makes sense.
There was something like she wanted to marry somebody whose parents were Catholic, so she converted, and that's just
Excuse me.
how things were back then. They look like traditional German crests. I have heard that comparison too, but it is worth noting that Hexenfoods as a tradition are believed to post-date our arrival in America. Like, they were a later development after we'd already been here a while. So I don't know if it's a case of that influencing our
Well, it could have
stuff,
been much
or
later, but derived from this, that sort of thing.
yeah, or
You know
if
what I mean?
it's like a case of convergent evolution. I'm honestly not sure. One of the unfortunate things about being Pennsylvania Dutch is that being a very widely there's a lot of little differences from place to place. Even Pennsylvania Dutch, the language sounds different from like county to county and sometimes even town to town. One of the bad things about that is that we are like a sort of a minority, but not in like the usual sense of that term. So there's not really like there's not a lot of academic interest basically in what what Pennsylvania Dutch people are like and where all of our stuff comes from. There's some.
There is. It's just that it's like Yeah, it's just that it's like there's some stuff which is pretty old, and then there's some stuff that's more recent, but there's like a gap in between. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I mean this happened to like all German Americans during World War II, one and two. There was kind of more of an internal thing rather than any external pressure.
Yes.
There was like this thing where a lot of our families were like, well, maybe we shouldn't speak German out and about because we don't want people to think that we're goose stepping because of that. Yeah. And
that's during World War One. My great grandfather, rather, on my that was my dad's mom's dad. He was an Austrian Jew.
Mm-hmm.
His name was Schwanenfeld. So he used the name Swan professionally because being named Schwanenfeld during World War One was
that's the kind of thing. That's like my family was traditionally the Humensbergs, which is very German. Like during World War One and Two, we started just dropping the berg and pronouncing it almond, which is closer to how it's actually spelled, by English pronunciation rules anyway.
As opposed to like oimen.
Yeah, it's almost like yeoman. It's a weird word.
I assume that it's because like
there was an umlaut in there somewhere. At one
there's
point.
An A with an umlaut. Then you.
It's not It's not present anymore, but there was at one point. But yeah, like kind of like this weird self-inflicted cultural slow starve, because like my grandparents both speak Pennsylvania Dutch fluently. They did not teach it to my mom very much, and she knows like a little bit. I know even less. I know like a couple words, a lot of which are slang terms or not very nice words, like Scheissenkoffer, which is how you call somebody a shithead in Pennsylvania Dutch.
Yeah.
But there is like I don't know. But
I guess it's sort of like there's also the whole thing of, and people like actually like know even less about this, and there's like even less academic study I think of this, is like there are communities in Minnesota and Wisconsin that up until recently spoke Norwegian primarily.
Yeah. Like, there's places like that all over the country, and,
Yeah. Like there's actually a church in I think St. Paul that they are one of the only churches in the US to have a Norwegian liturgy.
yeah. Like, this is one of those things, like, whenever, like, I roll my eyes whenever other white people talk about how, like, ooh, people pressure us to feel ashamed to be white nowadays because the whole like American WASP monoculture thing hurts everybody, and I feel
Yeah.
like if you're in a position where you think that complaining about that is
And also
if you're complaining that you're
yeah.
quote unquote being made to feel bad about it, they kind of already got you. like
And it's also
it's
and
just
like
annoying.
and also on top of that it's like when you are an ethnic minority that happens to be either white or predominantly white as understood in this cultural context, the reason why you're being screwed over at all is generally has nothing to do with being white. In fact, that's the opposite.
Yeah,
It's because of the elements that are not like
it's
the
the
monoculture.
yeah,
It's
we
like
don't get screwed on the white part. We get screwed on the Anglo-Saxon Protestant part.
exactly
Yeah,
like again, I'm from a like my dad's side of the family are Jewish,
yeah.
and like there are a lot of ways you can get screwed with that, and
It's
like
the same thing that happens down south. Like,
yeah.
um, and to be clear, there are black Pennsylvania Dutch people,
Oh
but
yeah.
but that's I'm just saying like for the majority who are white or at least white passing, like it's
Yeah.
it's it's still an issue, and it's not like I don't know. People
But
try to
it's
frame it in all these weird ways, and
but the
you
issue
know,
is not like oh no, white people being oppressed. It's
yeah,
like
it's
it's
different.
like cultural erasure, which is a different issue.
Yes, it's
And
a
it
different
sucks.
concern.
It's
It
just a
does.
different issue.
It does. Like you cannot. You used to be able to take Pennsylvania Dutch classes in lots of parts of Pennsylvania, and this is a recent development over the past like 20, 30 years, have been steadily replaced with I forget what the technical term is, but like standard continental German classes, which
Yeah,
like
which
there's
is
nothing wrong with continental German as a language
but it's a
or as a
totally different
culture.
language.
Yeah, but it's not the same. Like
Yeah, it's like
you're not reconnecting with your culture by learning fucking Hochdeutsch. It's just not.
yeah.
That's a different thing. It's I don't know.
It's like it's very, very different, like
Yeah,
in a lot of ways. I
yeah.
mean, like if you look at traditional, like there's not like a really hard standard for Pennsylvania Dutch,
There's
but
not.
like,
There's that
but
newspaper in Lancaster that publishes in Dutch, and that's
but
kind of
there's
as close as there is to a standard
but
written
like
form.
but yeah, like but in terms of like what the typical conventions are, and you
Yeah,
actually look at it and the way it reflects pronunciation, it is a completely different language from standard German.
yeah,
Like it,
yeah,
including like High German.
yeah. It for one thing, like it's a derivative of like like
It is a derivative
Plattdeutsch.
of High German.
Yeah,
It's just
which was yeah,
it's a very specific set of dialects
like
that are not the same as the ones that standard German is
yeah.
based on.
The big thing with like the vocabulary that always trips continental Germans up, and we get a fair few in that area because it's a big hiking destination.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um, is like any word that has to do with something that was invented during the Industrial Revolution is gonna be completely different.
Yeah.
There's a lot of borrowed and adapted English words. There's a lot of like back construction. Like I think the Pennsylvania Dutch word for airplane is like fucking. It's the words airplane in German, which is not what the German word for airplane normally is in standard German. It's like there's a lot of stuff like that.
Like that's the same with like Quebecois and Acadian French as opposed to continental French. Like, Quebecois French has a ton of weird constructions that are based on English or were borrowed from English really early.
Mm-hmm.
That, like... And also, one thing that I kind of love about Quebecois French was that a lot of their curse words are just Catholic religious terms.
That's, I fucking learned that from Raucow back in the day, if anybody remembers that guy.
Yeah, I remember
the Let's
Raucow.
Player. He'd always fucking go, like, he'd say, like, tabernac when he got really pissed
I was about
off.
to say, tabernac is a...
Which is just the Quebecer French word for tabernacle, which is a...
Yes. And I think the reason...
in a church.
I think the cultural reason for it is because while they were Catholic and French, the reason why they were part of Canada, and also, why they'd rather not be, but, that's a whole thing. But, like, is because
Germans
the fact that they swore allegiance to the English.
Yeah.
The Acadian French, by the way, did not. That's a whole other thing. Yeah. And that's why, like, Acadians and Quebecois have, like, this whole fucking thing about each other. Which is fucking weird.
Yeah, like... Some of the other, subcultures in Pennsylvania...
Yeah.
Like, Pennsylvania Dutch people will sometimes get into rows with them over stupid shit. Sometimes it's just plain old racism in the case of, like... our more, like, comparatively more recent Hispanic and Chinese immigrants. Sometimes it's just bizarre. Like, I lived near they were actually Bickertonites, I think, a Mormon community.
Yeah, you were saying.
And they were nice people. But like, for whatever reason, the Pennsylvania Dutch order in the area just did not really get along with them. So they'd always be, like, bickering about stuff in the fucking, like, ShopRite parking lot.
Oh, God. With, like, Bickertonites.
Yeah, just
incidentally, Bickertonites are, like, the most, what is it called, liberal of the Mormon orders that I can think of.
Yeah, they're the people that stayed in the East.
Yeah, also, there's another one that stayed in the group that stayed in the East, are the Strangeites.
Yeah.
It's weird, is, like, that there are, like, multiple different sects of Mormonism.
Yeah.
Like, that have all formed since, like, the 1850s.
That's not that weird. There's multiple sects of Scientology. Like...
Oh, God, really?
Yeah, there's free zoners, which is, like, the Scientologist equivalent of a Protestant, basically. They don't recognize the actual authority of the Church of Scientology, but they adhere to the actual religious tenets. You know, like, if you're gonna believe something like that, I'm more
likely to trust one of them than, like, the fucking...
Yeah,
the actual Church of
Scientology. The COS is not a friend of the channel, to put it politely.
No! No. Like...
No, it's zone, free zone, as in like, you know, a zone in a video game or something. I'm not sure where the term comes from exactly. But,
I do like that there is a breakaway Protestant sect of Scientology.
yeah, basically, and I don't
That's kind
know...
of great.
Like, I don't know if
We're in the
they're
weirdest
all...
cyberpunk future. Weirdest cyberpunk future.
Like,
Darkest timeline.
I don't know if they're all together as, like, a singular group, or if there's lots of different interpretations within the group. I don't know the details.
I mean, either one would still make it the weirdest cyberpunk future and the darkest timeline.
No, like the free zoners do not adhere to church structure, which is the reason that they're, like, Protestant. Like, they still hold to the religious tenets, the whole, like, the stuff about Xenu and whatnot. Which I don't think you're supposed to say that, actually, but whatever. Like, they don't adhere to the organization, which is why they are not, like...
Yeah.
There's also, like, this whole argument of if they even technically are Scientologists then, but, like, I don't...
It's weird.
They think they are, so who am I to disagree? It's like the "Are Mormons Christians" things. Like, who gives a fuck?
I mean,
not that important.
Yeah, also, you can easily say that they are a Christian religion, in that that Christ is a very important part of that, and that there isn't, like, another figure who's technically more important than Jesus in there. Whereas, like, with Islam, while they recognize that Jesus is a very significant prophet, Muhammad is generally the more significant prophet, so you wouldn't call it a Christian religion. It's Islam. It's its own thing.
But yeah, I just the thing with people arguing with Bickertonites in the grocery store parking lot is the kind of thing that's like, that's where I grew up.
Yeah,
it's very
Pennsylvania.
It's very, not even very Pennsylvania, it's very, like, southeast Pennsylvania.
Yeah, true.
Like,
I mean,
only near the Jersey border.
Yeah.
Well, Lancaster's a bit farther inland, but I grew up in Carbon County. And
I mean, to be fair, there's other stuff that's, like, more... Then there's also stuff that's just, like, very Philly.
Yeah.
Which is a whole different
That's a
thing.
whole different set of conventions.
Y'all
don't really have too many Pennsylvania Dutch people, I don't think, in Philly.
Not that many. I mean, there are Mennonites and Moravians.
So. Yeah, but, like...
occasionally you'll see the Amish outside of the,
Well, they go to the flea market, right? Or
they go to... they have a thing at Reading Terminal.
Yeah. I actually, I was talking with a friend of the channel, Zersk, about this the other day. Like, there have been many waves of immigrants to that part of Pennsylvania over the decades and centuries. And as a consequence, the Allentown flea market, I have a very vivid mental image that I always remember of, like, the Pennsylvania, the Amish baker setting up his, like, pretzel shop, and then the next booth over was a Sikh guy.
Sikh?
Yeah, I am never clear on if the I is pronounced like an I or an E.
It's
both.
It's a short E.
So it's like sek?
No, I mean a short E as in Sikh.
Okay.
Like it's pronounced for a short amount of time.
In that case, the next booth over was like a Sikh guy who was selling... I don't remember what he was selling, actually, but you get the point. Like, there's a lot of cultural diversity in the flea market.
Oh, yeah. Also, if I'm not mistaken, Philadelphia is, like, one of the largest Armenian diaspora populations.
Why not? I mean, Philly's a perfectly fine place.
I mean, like, it's where a lot of people fled during and after the Armenian genocide.
Hey, Go-Go, I'm gonna fight you in real life.
Oh, dear Lord.
No, Sikh as in the Punjabi religion.
Yeah, like traditionally defined like that men will often continue to grow their hair out and wear it in a turban.
Yeah. Which
And
I
also
think
they
that headdress
carry a very
actually
small
has
dagger.
a specific, more more specific proper name, but I don't remember what it is off the top of my head. And yeah, they have small daggers on them as religious ornaments.
They're also, well, I mean, strictly speaking, they're like they adhere to a form of pacifism, and the whole point of the dagger thing is that if somebody is in trouble, you defend them.
Yeah. Which,
Uh,
not actually with the dagger, I don't think. It's more of a symbolic thing.
yeah, it's a symbol. Yeah, it's a reminder that basically to keep the peace.
Zursk was telling me that apparently, like, the dagger causes a lot of problems and like airports and stuff.
Oh yeah, that's like a whole thing.
Because, racism.
Because racism, yeah.
Yeah. Which, that has to suck. But, yeah.
Yes.
But, yeah. I still,
yeah.
if I can find someone someday who's willing to teach me, I would like to learn Pennsylvania Dutch beyond a couple of words.
That'd be great.
Yeah. Just, like, it's, they're not large daggers.
No, they're
they're
the size of a
pretty small.
pencil.
I don't even know if calling them a dagger is technically accurate, because I don't remember if dagger is defined by size.
No, I mean, well, it's
A knife?
it is a.
I don't know.
It is considered a dagger. It's like a type of small. It is a small bladed. Well, I mean, in theory, like it's technically a bladed weapon, but
Yeah,
it's
too short to be a sword or machete or anything like that, and it's
yeah,
not
it's like, but I'm saying like specifically with the one that Sikhs carry.
Yeah.
It's like it's it's like it's usually, if I'm not mistaken, worn on the person either on a chain around the neck or in like a pocket.
Back, I think is the other place sometimes.
Like,
I might be wrong about that. I'm not sure.
It's worn close to the body and is basically it's symbolic. It's a reminder of particular like originally back in the days when the Sikhs initially were dealing with conflicts between Hindus and Muslims, they actually carried full-on daggers.
Yeah.
Because of the fact that the whole intention of it was initially that they were a religious order which was trying to make sure that Hindus and Muslims didn't kill each other.
Well, like they were also their own religion, and it is worth noting that several of the Mughal emperors really did not like them.
Yeah,
and that was a whole thing. Infamously, two of their important early religious leaders were actually tortured to death by the Mughal emperors.
Yeah.
I don't think they're that big, Go-Go. I think they're quite small, but I might be wrong. I'm not
sure. Yeah, it's nowhere near that. Like 23 centimeters is what, like 10 inches? Jeez.
Yeah. I feel like that's a small sword at that point, right? That's almost a foot long. I don't know.
Well, that's still a dagger. That's just like a pretty long dagger. Like a short sword is over a foot long.
Is this the first time we've ever talked about weaponry on the show?
Probably not, but still, like, this when I was, like a kid would have been my distinct flavor of nerd shit.
I was always into, like, Egyptology as a child.
I loved Egyptology too, especially the gods. Like...
Yeah.
I somewhere packed away have a book of, like, literally all of the deities of ancient Egypt. And their various, and where they showed up in the pyramid texts and other things.
Yeah.
Like, there is a minor deity called Ba-Peth, which literally means that one, who is only mentioned once in a really ominous line, which is about passing through the house of Ba-Peth, whose house is full of woe.
He's got fucking, like, One Direction posters on the walls.
No, that would be whose house is full of... Insert joke about One Direction stands here.
House is full of Zayn.
Oh no! Couldn't have been one with, like, a solo career that doesn't suck?
There aren't those, I don't think.
Harry Styles is decent.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And, like, there are others of them that have done stuff that's tolerable. But Zayn Malik's solo career is probably
okay, yeah,
the
actually,
worst.
Zayn Malik definitely had the worst one.
Like, objectively the worst One Direction member in terms of solo career.
Pillow Talk is a very bad song.
Also, that duet he did with Taylor Swift.
That's just the same song again.
It's just the same song, but, like... I think Todd in the Shadows nailed it when he... How is it that he grows a beard and manages to look more like a 5-year-old?
Oh, I don't like making fun of people's appearances.
It's true, though!
I actually don't really have a strong mental image of him. I don't entirely know what he looks like. Well, I mean, you're German. Go-Go, they weren't super... Well, maybe they were, but I don't think they were super popular outside of the U.S.
Like, well, in England.
And England, yeah. Outside of the Anglosphere. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, like... My awareness is from... Essentially... like watching people on YouTube who talk about pop songs.
I know some One Direction songs, some of which are, like, pretty good. But...
I mean, like, I have heard them out in the wild.
Yeah.
Yes, and some of their songs are fine.
You know.
Some of them are not.
Yeah.
I don't think that they were an utter plague upon society. I will say that.
Hey, did you know that we live in one of those?
I mean, I get reminded by that meme all the fucking time.
I saw the most confusing Twitter bio of all time today.
Okay, yeah.
Part of it I'm not going to repeat, because it contains, like, an actual offensive term. But after that part, it's like, hashtag Jokerist, hashtag Simonist, and then it was like, DM me, and then it was an okay hand sign, a rainbow emoji, and like 5 different religious symbols. And then in place of pronouns in their bio, they had uwu/uwu.
Oh my god. Uwu/uwu?
I just don't, yeah, I just, like, don't know what to make of it.
They've memed too fucking hard.
Also, their avatar was Astolfo from Fate's Day Night, wearing Joker makeup.
That's okay, they're an extreme meme lord.
Like, lost, like, memeing so hard that you've lost all sense of identity.
Yeah, pretty much.
Ooh, sorry. 1 second.
Yeah.
No, go on.
I actually have to use the restroom.
Okay.
I'll be back in a sec.
Don't die.
Yeah.
We live in a plague. Bottom text. Just gonna do a thing real quick. I am still here, no worries. Huh. Friend of the channel, Cammy, is watching Ranma 1/2 in class, so that's interesting. I'm not sure what's going on there. What the hell was I going to do? Oh yeah, I remember now. Hey Gogo, I'm going to engage you in combat now. Go to the Twitter and be like, hey, okay, or it could just not load. There we go. Hey folks, still live playing some Dead Cells. Come by and hang out. There we go. Ah. I don't know what we should do after Dead Cells here. GeoGuessr's like the obvious option, but I'm not entirely sure. Hello, Shredney.
So, Simonist?
Yeah, I have no idea what the fuck Simonist means. Yeah, while you were gone, we learned that our good friend Cammy is watching Ranma in their Japanese class. Like, the teacher put it on.
Oh, wow.
Not sure what's going on there, but, you know.
I'm gonna say I would say the queer agenda. In action. In academia.
In action. I have never seen that show.
You can too.
No, no, they said you can't convince me otherwise.
You can't convince me otherwise.
You
but
can
you can too
would be very powerful. I am transgender, and so can you.
Yes, exactly.
Remember Stephen Colbert's book, I Am America?
Yes,
so can
I
you?
know. I have read part of it.
My stepdad owned that book, and I don't know if he ever actually read it.
It's very silly.
I imagine Stephen Colbert is a silly man.
Yeah, like. Although, honestly, I like it since he's dropped since he's dropped the shtick.
I don't agree with that. I think his stuff on what's the name of the show he hosts now?
He took over the Late Show from Letterman.
Right. I think his stuff since he took over the Late Show is like markedly worse than his material in character.
Well, I mean, yeah, but at the same time, I'm saying in terms of like things like his interviewing style and whatnot.
I guess the interviewing I definitely think has gotten better. But like the actual bits, like
yeah,
I don't know. I feel like he's gotten kind of lazy, and occasionally like not
tone deaf.
Yeah, like that kind of. Anyway, we're dangerously coming close to like actually talking about current events, so maybe we shouldn't.
Did you see this thing where somebody actually has basically confirmed that? Did you see the Sudafed box thing?
Sudafed box? No.
Basically, it's been that the rumors about Trump being on, dangerous amounts of stimulants. Basically, he inadvertently confirmed it himself.
No, actually. No,
I'm not kidding.
Like, I believe you. I just, like, the guy has done so much horrible shit that even if that's completely true, it's, like, I just don't care compared to
like that. No,
all
but
of
I'm
the
saying
actually awful things that he's done.
But the thing is, okay, so it's like, the famous taco bowl photo?
Yes.
In the background of that, you can see one of his drawers is open. It is full of boxes of not just Sudafed, but the UK version of it. Which would not only be circumventing...
it just doesn't surprise me.
This would be a literally illegal amount of phenylephrine.
Maybe they can get him on that after we impeach him for the whole fucking thing with the Ukraine. With Ukraine, like I don't know.
And this only confirms what somebody who knew from him when he was working on The Apprentice, that he would snort lines of Adderall, pop those, the Sudafed, like candy, and then apparently at night would use cocaine and biker meth.
Biker meth.
He'd literally have bikers deliver him meth.
Like, I just don't... It's just not surprising to me. Like,
it isn't. I mean, with the sniffing thing, I noticed that in the debate with Clinton.
It's just... I'm not saying it's not a problem, because obviously somebody who's, like, predicated, like, a solid half of his policies on, like, Reagan-era scare-mongering bullshit derived from the war on drugs. Like, obviously that's hugely hypocritical. Yeah. But, like, it's just... it doesn't even register anymore. The guy has done so much shit.
But I mean, a large part of that is...
If he was otherwise perfectly fine as a president and did a bunch of drugs, I would care about the drugs more. I can't... bring myself
it's just
to...
it makes a disturbing amount... The thing was with Reagan, though, that he didn't start suffering seriously from Alzheimer's until after he left the presidency. Contrary to popular belief.
No, I think what Gogo was getting at is the whole, CIA...
the CIA drug shit. Oh, yeah, boy, yeah. Oh,
I believe we now know definitively that Reagan told them to do. I might be wrong about that.
Yeah, it's just, oh, fucking hell, yeah. That was obscene. But, yeah, okay, the CIA drug stuff.
Reagan was the worst president. Man, there's a lot of competition for that.
No, there's too much competition. Also,
Andrew Jackson...
Andrew Jackson
genocided
was arguably
a
worse.
Number of entire ethnic groups. So I don't know. It depends on how you measure impact, I think.
Also, in terms of you also have to take into account that George W. Bush not only managed to massively tank the economy, but managed to get us into 2 wars that have killed hundreds of thousands of people.
Yeah.
Regardless of what you think of him personally, the fact was, as an administrator, he was arguably one of the worst presidents we've ever had.
That is an entirely reasonable opinion, Gogo. I don't know. I think it's almost kind of an impossible task. There have been many really, really bad American presidents.
Yeah, again, Andrew Jackson was directly complicit in, active in genocide.
Yeah,
then on, Franklin Pierce basically is one of the reasons...
extremely depressing subject.
Oh, yeah, and Franklin Pierce, who George W. Bush is directly descended from, was, one of the presidents who, made the lead up to the Civil War as bad as it was.
Yeah, that's fair, Gogo. Franklin Pierce is one of those presidents that nobody ever talks about.
Because he was really fucking bad.
He also drank himself to death, 2 years after leaving office.
I thought that was Grant.
No, that was Pierce. I mean, maybe Grant did too. I don't remember. But
Pierce
did.
That's actually sad. still.
Yeah.
Like, drinking yourself to death is never nice.
No.
Like, unless, with the exception, the only, time where it may be cause for not exactly mirth, but like a very morbid sense of satisfaction.
What? Shredney?
So Stalin had this. Yes.
You completely vanished for a
Oh,
minute there.
yeah. It like the screen got weird too. Okay, what I was saying was, so Stalin's personal executioner, who was also the guy who was the perpetrator of the Katyn massacre.
Hey, like, not to cut you off, but maybe we should talk about something
It's
else.
very I'll tell you the story some other time, but it is actually really interesting. Grim but interesting.
We're gonna play GeoGuessr now.
Neat.
Let me turn on our tunes. And I'm gonna use the restroom real quick, and then when I come back, we will get to that. Oh, I forgot to hit the play button. That's why it's not playing.
Resner Wave?
Artist and title. I wish there was a way that I could just cut out this little window with the like name of the artist and song.
Okay.
But as far as I'm aware, there is no way to do that.
There might be, but it's probably complicated.
Yeah. Anyway, I'll be right back. Actually, I'm gonna turn this down a little bit. This is quite loud.
Alright.
Even as low as it is. Let me know how that sounds to you guys in the audience. BRB.
Excuse me. Hello, people. Excuse me. Hello? Hello. Excuse me. Again.
Hey, hey. Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hello.
It is time for
Hello.
Geoguessr.
Geoguessr?
Yes. For at least a little bit. Hello, Gogo.
Okay.
Now, can I remember? Hey, actually, I just thought of an idea about how I might be able to capture both of these. Let me see. We're gonna do an experiment real quick, gang.
Oh dear.
Now how do I... It's window capture is what I usually use, right? For,
Yes.
For Geoguessr?
Geoguessr. Yes.
Geoguessr, yes. Sorry, my bad. Okay. Okay, there we go. That's Geoguessr.
Oh, yeah. And just throw in another one
Well, yeah,
into the thing.
what I'm gonna try to do is see if... That's ridiculous. That you still can't gift GeoGuessr Pro to people. And then what I'm gonna see is
ridiculous.
if I can capture ad source. Plaza 1. Then see if I can, like, okay, well, it's on screen, but now how do I make it, like, non-intrusive and still readable? That's the question. I've got a possible idea.
This is very aesthetic, regardless.
It's some kind of aesthetic, like, I'm not sure whose, but...
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, that's doable.
Yeah, now... It's gonna make it a little bit larger. Can you guys read that? In the back there. Make it even,
I mean,
like,
I
there
think
we
that
go.
if I were watching this, I could.
I could just open Twitch on my computer over here and see if it's
Excuse me again.
Grenade.
I probably should go eat something very soon.
Let's see. It doesn't.
What's going on?
It just, I'm not sure that it's quite legible. It's sort of hard to tell. Well, is there more room on the other side over here? Let's find out. Like slightly more? Ah, wait, what am I thinking? We can move GeoGuessr over a little bit.
Yeah.
And then just make this window bigger. Like about that big. And
Yeah,
then
that works.
have GeoGuessr like that.
Yeah, that works.
It's a little haphazard, but I think that works.
You could enlarge GeoGuessr a little.
No,
Without
because
in
it'll
the far corner, so that it's like actually.
well,
no,
no,
I
there
mean
we
the
go.
other corner,
Well, it
because
good
then
point.
it expands
Yeah,
out
actually,
in
good
that
point.
direction.
Yeah, that's a good point. That should be legible back there. Let me know if it's not. I would just like people to be able to read Plaza 1.
Yeah.
Stuff. Anyway, what you thinking? Diverse world?
Yeah, go for it.
This is capturing properly? It is, yes, okay. Cool. Balcony Bachelor? Is that the name of this song? Or the name of, like, the person that made this map or something? What's this say? Aggressive Isolation Company? What? Hold on.
Let me see.
Hold on. Let me try to get this from the other side. It is the song title? Okay. Oh, okay. It's Ongava Isolation something. Oh? Ongava.
Général. Isolation générale. Entrepreneur général.
I agree. Is it French?
It's in French, but, like, I don't know where this is.
Given the landscape, I'm feeling Quebec, but it's possible we're in Europe.
What's that sign over there? Yeah, okay.
Soudure
Soudure.
Usinach, which is
Usinage.
falling apart. Like I do not
Okay.
speak the language. I took my best guess. Okay.
Oui. Oui.
Also, I got some soda, and I have somewhat unusually Diet Dr. Pepper today instead of the usual Pepsi or Coke. I don't usually get Diet Dr. Pepper because it kind of makes me jittery.
Huh.
But they were out of both the usual Pepsi and Coke, which is what I usually get as backup.
Okay, this seems like
This seems Quebecian to me.
Yeah.
Is that what you're thinking also?
Yeah, I'm just not sure where in Quebec. We have to keep going along until we find a sign.
Quebec Road, take me home.
Oh dear Lord.
French-speaking place where I belong.
That's not even... No, stop.
No. E-Auto.
SG. Okay,
La
that SG
E-Auto.
is like a... I think that SG is actually French. Like, not as in not Quebecois, as in, like, French, but, like...
A part of the world where Homo sapiens live. So we know we're not, like, in the ocean. So I guess that's good.
Yeah.
Sorry, I actually took a drink of water right there because my stomach was feeling all weird suddenly. Gosh, we've been live for 3 hours? I guess more like 2.5 because the first half of the, like, half hour of the stream was just nothing because Destiny didn't want to work. What's this place? Dance and Disco! I have heard about that, you know, if it wasn't exclusively a bougie thing, I would actually think that that was pretty cool. Motel du Lac. Does that just mean Lakeside Motel? Also, again, like, do let me know if the music is too loud. To me, it sounds just right, but...
I think this might be Quebec.
Motel du Lac. Like if they used a V here because they couldn't find a U.
Yeah.
They're down
it's
here.
Very,
yeah. It's
and
very
they
what?
switched. No, they switched the V's and the U's. Do you notice? Like, go back, like the sign on, like on that side of the sign, because they say ouverture on there, and then it's spelled OVU as opposed to OUV. Except
Huh.
No, they've switched them. No, but then on the Q, they spell it with a U. What the fuck?
I don't know, Shredney.
They're not even being consistently cult.
Is it spelled that way on this side too?
KVLT.
No, this. This.
No. OVL2. OVL2. What? Lol, what?
What is the Super Mix Overture? Golf!
Libercio something.
Oh, hell yeah. This is my jam. Shredney, open the stream for a second and take a listen to this.
Okay.
Yeah, Langlos. Is this Macross 89? It sounds like something he'd make.
Let me see. I'm gonna... see.
Oh, is Macross a lady? I didn't know that, actually. Or is Miss Macross a different person? You never know with Future Funk.
I can't hear it very well, unfortunately.
Tragic. Diesel. It's funky, Shredney.
I can appreciate that. I can appreciate that.
It also, like, super does not fit where we are in GeoGuessr right now.
I can appreciate that someone's got the funk. Somewhere.
Somewhere.
Wait, there's a sign. We just passed a sign.
I saw
blue
it.
sign.
I saw it. I didn't pass it on purpose.
It was small and blue, and it's a sign. A sign from God. That says 1,000. And there's a little tiny thing.
O-Cross. They don't know what that was supposed to say.
6 kilometers.
The fact that he hates Future Funk is proof that Anthony Fantano has no soul.
That's unfair.
Yes, it is. I was being facetious. Yo, who's doing the mixing? You can't go from that to this sad mopey bit.
Probably a random number generator / algorithm.
Yeah, it is almost certainly completely random. That was just being goofy.
You're getting screwed by the RNG. It's a heated gaming moment in action.
Heated vaporwave moment.
Heated vaporwave moment.
Mixes of plastic love.
No,
that sounds pretty good, though.
I guess that like a heated vaporwave moment is when you start screaming the lyrics to "Plastic Love."
I think a heated vaping moment. Never mind. The joke I was gonna make is not as funny as heated vaping moment.
No, but what would a heated vaporwave moment be?
Oh, it's like that. I don't know. Like there was a joke, and it's just gone now and lost in the fire of heated vaping moment. I'm just gonna put us in Quebec. I don't think we're gonna get any more actionable information. I'm gonna say we're near Montreal. We were near Montreal.
Oh, we were up in the north of Quebec.
Oh,
yeah, it is Le Bel-sur-Quévillon.
Yeah.
I have no idea what Le Bel-sur-Quévillon is, other than
like a town.
It is a wee town in Quebec. It is we and Quebecois.
Hold on, where'd that guy with the cowboy hat go? There was a guy wearing a cowboy hat.
Excuse me.
You all saw it. Oh, language.
I actually didn't, really.
Chinese? Young
Yeah,
Yuan.
this is
Yeah, that sounds pretty Chinese.
probably Taiwan.
Yeah. Taiwan.
We're in like a
moment.
park in Taiwan.
Yeah.
Or maybe not. Maybe we're just in the woods.
Might be one remix too many.
That is
Good point.
entirely Chinese.
Yep.
Is that
I
traditional
agree.
Chinese?
Maybe. I don't know the difference. It does look like there's a lot of strokes in the characters, though.
Yeah,
Except for that
simplified
one.
Chinese has a lot fewer strokes than traditional Chinese. But that, I mean, if it's traditional Chinese, it's Taiwan. Like, not a lot of other places use traditional Chinese. Like, I guess the Chinese diaspora does.
Doesn't
a lot of
Macau
places.
use traditional Chinese?
Macau probably, yeah.
Not that I think we're in Macau, since I think Macau is basically just the one city.
Yeah, Macau is just Macau. Also, I'd expect to see at least some Portuguese signage if it were Macau.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, I don't know why I just remembered this, but I was going to ask Cece if I could install Thug Pro on here, and I forgot to do that.
It is funny how, like, the way that, Tony Hawk Underground, whatever. It's Hong
HK
Kong.
Electric, we're in Hong Kong.
Okay, we're in Hong Kong.
Alright, I'm glad I saw that little sticker.
Somewhere in Hong Kong.
Where am I going? That's not where Hong Kong is. This is where Hong Kong is.
Oh yeah, by the way,
Over here?
Free Hong Kong revolution of our time.
Yes, also, like, good luck and Godspeed to those people, because I would not want to be in that situation.
Yeah.
We were in,
on an island off the coast.
yeah, we were near Hung Sing Ye Beach. Restaurant
And the
on
restaurant
the
on the hill. I'd visit the restaurant on the hill.
I would too. Dollarful.
Okay, it's called Llama Island.
What a great.
Yeah,
Like,
Dollarful.
I don't know if that's a real word. Like, there's such a thing as Hong Kong English that might be a real word in Hong Kong English. But even if it's not, that's such a great little term. Dollarful.
Incidentally, like, apparently Hong Kongers often speak with, like...
I forgot to change the game to GeoGuessr. Do that real quick.
Okay. I'm not sorry.
Not sorry about what?
I don't know, but sure. But I was just gonna say that if I'm not mistaken, like, Hong Kongers, their traditional, like, accent is like, or at least like a lot of folks born in Hong Kong, like, essentially speak with a British accent.
I
like
have
a
heard
thing.
that, but like I thought Hong Kong had like its own.
It does have its own, like.
Where is this kid
like,
going? There's
dialect.
so much energy in this picture.
Yeah, but Hong Kong does have its own dialect. It's just, like, distinctly derived from British English, and the higher registers of it, like, more formal registers are very similar to received pronunciation.
Yeah. But, like, I wonder if Dollarful is like a
Could be.
piece of Hong Kong.
Or it could just have been, like, somebody just came up with
just
that
being goofy, yeah.
because why not?
Hi?
Okay, we're in Iceland.
Yeah! Buthar's dollar.
What's our dollar?
60 kilometers from Patrexfjordur.
Beautiful. Yeah, like, Stikkishólmur. Sticky summer.
Um,
Where? Oh, it's probably. I'm gonna just guess it's in the north, or it's over there.
I'm looking. Like, I don't see any of these places on
It's
the
somewhere with a
side.
fjord, because fjord.
Well,
like,
gee, that helps us a lot in fucking Iceland, Brittany.
I mean, the fact that they have eds was helpful. You know, like, there aren't any other countries that use eds.
Yeah, no, we're definitely somewhere here. I think
On
Icelandic is the only language on Earth that still uses eth. Eth,
yeah, it's
rather.
like. Yeah, like,
Wait, is this it? Patrick's.
Yeah.
Yeah, Patrick's Fjordur. How far away is 60 kilometers?
Not that far.
Like, none of these other places are on the sign.
Zoom in closer, and maybe we'll
Nah,
see.
it's just
These other places.
It's just like it's not. There's nothing over here other than Patrick's.
Then just stick it on the road.
Yeah, like
not all the way over there, because that's closer to then we'd
Here,
know
maybe.
that it would be near Bidalfjord.
oh,
we're
okay.
by-
We were like over here. That makes sense.
We were
Still,
still quite close. All things considered.
why the F, Go?
F. Press F to pay respects.
Yeah. The saxophone is making me tired. No, not F. Ev. The
Ev.
thorn.
Thorn. Yes.
What the
Well,
fuck?
no, Thorn looks like a P welded with a B. But
They
Ev
make the same
is-
sound, don't they?
Yes,
No.
like it's contextual.
Yeah.
They're
like-
used differently.
Yeah, never mind. I'm incorrect about that.
I mean, they're not like they're. Thorn is used at the beginning of words. Ev is used in the middle and such.
And
I
at
think-
the end.
No, at the end, no, and no, I think Thorn is also used at the end of words.
You
we're
getting anything
in,
out of those?
Probably. Oh, wait, we could be in we're either in Finland or Estonia. Let's look at Estonia.
Alright. That's not Estonia. That's somewhere
middle
in
of
the
the
middle
ocean.
of the Pacific Ocean. We're over the Pacific Ocean. Like, I'm looking for Kosei. Tequila.
I mean, I could be. Yegala.
Let's look around a little bit more.
Just.
What innuendo could contextual thorn possibly be intended to convey? Don't answer that question.
I don't know.
Some kind of like plant person thing.
I just thought of something, but I'm not gonna say it.
Yeah.
Not about plant people, though.
Plant people, look like plants, look like people.
What?
I don't know. It's apparently originally from South Park, but I only know it from various streamers I've heard sing it over the years. It's originally crab people.
Conisada. Yeah, oh no, this is probably Finland.
Yeah.
Sada.
Even in Diverse World, I feel like Finland shows up all the time.
Because it's large and has a lot of...
But it's not significantly bigger than Norway, which like never shows up. It's always either Finland
Because
or
Norway
Sweden.
probably has more, like, you know...
okay, we were in Estonia.
Oh, we were in Estonia!
We were right across the
right
coast,
the
so it
first
doesn't
time.
matter. Yeah.
Wow, I'm dim. Sometimes.
No, you shred me.
Even when I'm smart, I'm stupid. God damn it.
Oh,
We're in India, probably.
yeah.
Or, like,
Well, is
Sri Lanka or the Maldives.
Is Sri Lanka its own country? This is a very
Yes!
ignorant question.
Yes,
but
it is
I don't
very
actually-
much its own country.
don't
And in
actually
fact, there are
remember.
many problems arising from its government being by a very specific ethnic group.
Dr.
that,
Ferrer's house. It was named after Dr. Ferrer, who was residency surgeon during the siege. Sir Henry Lawrence was shifted to this building after being mortally wounded on the 2nd of July, who succumbed to his injuries on 4th July, 1857.
There are some misprints there.
Yo, bud, you ever heard of a fucking comma? Like, not to be rude, but... Dog!
Woofer!
What a good dog.
Pet woofer.
Just like... Is it just like there's no punctuation in this whatsoever?
Also, Henry Lawrence is spelled with 2 N's there, and also siege is spelled... Siege is supposed to be spelled S-I-E.
Yeah, you know.
That's, somebody needed to proofread that.
I mean, I'm not too upset about it. I just think that the complete lack of periods is very funny.
I mean, it is... There's a lot...
The
going
lack
on
of
that
periods in
side.
all caps makes it seem like it's being screamed at you.
Like it's being shouted by a very emphatic tour guide. I have like the suspicion that maybe it was like the guy who printed the sign was like the intern there.
Is this... Okay, let's read this other one. I wanna read all the informative history signs. While this, like, sultry saxophone music plays. Yeah.
Okay.
Gonna learn
The
about
entrance gate.
the Bailey Guard Gate. Let's go. This entrance
Nawab
gate was
Sadat.
constructed by the Nawab Sadat Ali Khan in the honor of John Bailey, who became the resident of Lucknow. I guess that's where we are. In the
Lucknow,
beginning
yeah,
of
that's in,
19th century, and this portal came to be known as Bailey Guard Gate.
This is,
Where's
yeah, that's
Lucknow
Lucknow in
again?
India.
It's like... Shit,
Name is escaping.
There
Like,
it is.
oh, there it is. Oh, it's in North India. I suck.
Boom.
Oh, wow, we got really close.
Yeah.
It's
Actually,
in the middle of Lucknow.
I could have zoomed in even further if I wanted to find where the residency house was, but, you know. Hey, I just
Epic
noticed
Porker.
that Gogo is credited as a channel founder. I guess because they were my first subscriber. That's neat.
That's neat. I think I need to go and restify.
Yeah, I actually was thinking the same thing. So, that will be all for this evening.
Good night, everybody.
Yeah. Well, that's trippy. I'm not sure why it's doing that. Good night, Go-Go. Thank you for coming, Go-Go.
It was nice to have you.
Yeah.
See you, everybody. Bye.
Bye bye.